Hello, everybody. Oh, there we go. Let's hit the transition button. Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. We are here yet again for another episode of Memory Lane. I promise we are not going to go 4 hours this week. We just got super excited last week and just kind of kept going and went for 4 hours. But we promise we won't do that this week. We do have cutting off points. Mal has set them for us at a couple different places, just depending on how quickly we get through her material, which we have to fight creepy fucking dolls. So, you know, who knows? Who knows how fast we're going to get through it. Just some updates. This is like a TVMA channel. I say things like fuck a lot. So if that's too spicy for you, I'm so very sorry. See yourself out. Sorry about it. It's what happens. I'm not the only one. I can't say that I'm the only one who says it. Also, fun new things. So we've been working on our subscriber tiers. And Mal is slowly working on some beautiful emoticons for our subscriber tiers. There are some new ones out there if you have subscribed. Also, 5 Foot Latina, thank you for subscribing. We totally missed it last week when we were super into playing, but I want to thank you for subscribing. That means a lot to us. Actually, I just realized, I don't even have, that's why we didn't see it. I don't have
An alert.
an alert box on our thing. I'm going to do that while I'm talking and see how well this goes.
Just do your best. We believe in you.
I'm going to talk and try and add an alert box at the same time. We'll do it for both donations and bits. Speaking of bits, we have a special. What is it? Is it another emoticon? I think.
Yeah, it's a special emote.
Okay, so if you give us 1,000,
1,000 bits. Yes.
1,000 bits,
Pure 1,000 bits.
you get a special emoticon that is roll for pride.
Roll with pride.
Roll
It's a
with
pride
pride.
dice.
It's a pride die. So if that's something you enjoy, that is something you can also do. We're still working on some. If you have some suggestions or things along those lines of things you'd like to see for emoticons, especially if you are subscribing, give us a shout out, send us a message. Also, if you have to miss a week, especially because literally like last week, the holidays and things are coming up, and family responsibilities and such. We not only have all of our videos, all of our VODs on Twitch, but I have finally put in the fucking work to get them all up on our YouTube channel. If you want to find our YouTube channel, just YouTube Homebrews and Homebodies. It'll take you right to us. I've got them all in little playlists, so everything's organized. So yeah, so we've got that. Sorry, doing 2 things at once is really hard apparently today. So there's that. I'm trying to think anything else. We will be back on Thursday for our Descent into Avernus campaign. I'm so sorry, my brain is running on a delay. We'll be back on Thursday with Avernus. I think we have Naeem back.
We should have Naeem back this week. I believe so.
I think we have Naeem back, so that'll be fun. We'll have Cora back with us for anyone who missed Cora's antics. And then I think we're about the same every other week until we start getting closer to the holidays. Things to put on your calendar if you're interested. The only one we know right now is Mal and I are going to be playing on the lovely Ladies of D&D channel. We are going to be participating in their In December campaigns that they are doing, which is highlighting indie games. They're doing a whole bunch of one-shots. They're doing some kind of mini campaigns. And we're signed up for 2 of the same ones, and then Mal has her own that she's doing.
And I'm also in a panel of some sort.
And,
It's a very busy month.
And she's talking on a panel, but the only date we have so far is the 29th of December. We will be playing Thirsty Sword Lesbians, which we're super pumped about. And that is at 7 p.m. Eastern time, I think.
I believe so, but we'll say it again on stream before we get there.
Don't quote me on that. I will get that information again, but I know it's on the 29th, and it's sometime around 7 p.m. But we will be playing Thirsty Sword Lesbians with a group of amazing people. And I'm super, super excited about it. So yeah, we will have a couple more dates hopefully coming at you. They're trying to kind of schedule everything out right now, and they've got a lot going on. So even if it's not for us, please check them out. They are a wonderful channel. Their people are just so great. They regularly do charity streams for charities against for fighting domestic abuse, things along those lines. They're just all around really wonderful people. So also Mal just did an Animal Crossing one shot with them, which should hopefully be up on their Twitch, so you can go watch her be an Animal Crossing villager. And if you watch it with the chat, you can see me talk about how creepy the villager is, because it happens to be one of the villagers that's on our island that I think is a serial killer. So yeah, you can check that out. That was actually really cute. They used Honey Heist for that. So I'm learning more about new gaming systems, slowly but surely. It's very interesting when I've lived on D&D 90% of my life, and now I'm like, oh no, new gaming systems. I have to figure out how to play these games. But yeah, so December 29th, we will play Thirsty Sword Lesbians. And then Thursday, we will be back with Avernus. So without further ado, I will start our fancy trailer that Mal made. Give me just a moment.
Hello, that's my face. So hi, if you do not know me, my name is Mallory Mize, and I'm the game master here on Homebrews and Homebodies for Everyone's Forgotten. That is mostly because I wrote the system that we use for this game. And if somebody else deemed it, they'd probably be very confused by my notes on how to run it. For those of you who were not able to join us last week, or those of you that were, here is a small synopsis. I say small, even though last week had a lot of big things in it, to catch you up on where we are tonight. So we opened on Grimsby, which is a small town, basically out of any movie you've ever seen. We met our three hometown heroes: Quinn Lawson, who is a private eye, whose brother is a police officer, and whose parents are currently missing, and she's trying to figure out what's happening with them. We also met Calvin Fox, who is a priest in training for the one church that is in this town, to replace the priest for when that time should come. And we also met Tom Weaver, who is criminal by nature, covered in tattoos, and may or may not have been brought back correctly the last time from his memory wipe. We are yet to see. Um, they all were at a coffee shop for various reasons, where Tom met Maya for the first time. Maya is one of Tom's partner in crime, Teddy's friends, and Teddy asked Maya a favor to make Tom a map of town, because he was having trouble navigating around, even though he's had his memory back for about 5 months now. Calvin, who found out he had a meeting with the people of the church later, was stopping to get coffee, as was Quinn, stopping to get coffee for her and her brother, when a machine in the kitchen exploded and caused a fire, which killed one employee and injured others. Anytime a disaster strikes in Grimsby, obviously somebody has to come in and clean it up, or else what would the memory wiping even be for? So tag teamers, who are the workers who come in and clean up after these tragedies, swarmed the premises, and Quinn, Tom, Maya, and Calvin all ran, found the bodies in the kitchen. Calvin was able to save one of them from dying, in order for him to get medical attention later, but the four of them fled the scene. Bella, who is the owner of the coffee shop, was not so lucky, as she made it all the way to the back hallway and almost to the alley when she was grabbed and her memory wiped instead. But the four of them were able to get out successfully. Once they were away from Bella's and able to walk the path through town, they received a mysterious phone call from a phone booth, from somebody who claimed to be called the Reality Corporation, with a message from somebody named Penelope. Quinn picked up the phone and heard Penelope's message, only to hear a jingle that she couldn't quite place but felt very nostalgic in the first place, with a perfect memory score, or a memory check from Maya, who is an NPC sidekick character I have made for them. They were able to figure out that this jingle belonged to a toy store called Wonderland Toy Store that has been abandoned for years. And that Maya used to be friends with somebody named Penelope, but the Penelope disappeared when they were in high school. Later on, Calvin also got a message from the Reality Corporation, this time hearing a woman weeping and screaming before metal crashed on metal. He felt like this was it dredged up a feeling of, like, I really care about somebody who's in danger, but he couldn't really quite place anything other than that. Our crew then went to the toy store, only to find it abandoned, completely disheveled from the outside. It looked like nobody had touched it in years. But when they went in through the back door, they found somebody, Jeffrey Kahn, who happened to own the toy store and opened it with his father after he got out of high school. The problem was that Jeffrey himself couldn't leave the building. Quinn and Tom both tried to get Jeffrey to leave the building, but every time he crossed the threshold of a door that would go to the outside, he just disappeared and ended up back in the basement storage area. They come to find out that Jeffrey died in a tragic robbery of the toy store many years ago, and his spirit now stays here. He seems to think that the toy store is still up and running, and from the inside, the toy store looks perfect. It's just when you're outside that it looks awful and abandoned. Right as we were wrapping up, I skipped a very important part. I am so sorry. Tom and Teddy had a conversation in the park about some files that Tom was able to swipe from Bella's Bakery as the tag teamers were chasing them out, which happened to be proof that Bella was tracking when people were coming and going, and when people were getting their memory wiped, and when they were able to come back from their holidays that they were being sent on. So Tom and Teddy had a long conversation about that and what that could possibly mean. But after the incident in the toy store, they were escorted by Jeffrey up to a side room because Quinn used the excuse that people had been complaining about defective toys. Jeffrey, of course, is a man who wants to fix this and offers to give them toys to give to those that got the defective toys in the first place. And when everyone agreed, they went up into a side room when the door mysteriously locked and toys came to life. And we are about to enter combat with those toys. So if everybody would not mind to roll initiative for me. For those of you that weren't here last week, initiative in Memory Lane is calculated by I will roll initiative for any sort of enemies or their allies, which includes Maya. They then roll their initiative and they can try to add a modifier if they can justify it to me. And that only gets them ahead of their enemies, not any allies. So if I can find a d20 very quickly, because I forgot to get out all my dice, that's a 6 and that's an 11. So I'll give the 11 to Maya and I will give the 6 to the toys. So Maya is going to come in at 11. I am going to let all of the toys go on the same initiative, mostly because I do not want to track that many initiatives. So they will all go on 6. Now, Quinn, can I have your initiative, please? Okay. Calvin? You are muted.
I'll be in. It's a roll of a d20, right?
Yes.
Hot dang, that is a 4.
Fantastic. Would you like to try to justify that to get ahead of your enemy? Or would you like to stay there? You can absolutely do either one.
I really don't think there's any way to justify that reasonably. I'm not going to be prepared for this kind of a fight.
That's very fair. So you can stick behind the toys. And Tom?
Roll a 17 on the die.
Well, then there you go.
You mean you can't justify using, like, your faith or something? Because they do have red glowing eyes. They could be
do.
possessed.
He starts praying.
I think that's going to shake my faith more than anything.
Could you imagine an exorcism on 20 dolls?
No,
okay, so
I don't even want to imagine these creepy fucking dolls in the first place.
well, guess
Thank you,
what? I'm going to
5
be
foot Latina.
describing them in absolute
Totally
detail.
fucking creepy.
Okay, so our order is going to be Tom, Quinn, Maya, then the toys, and then Calvin.
Wait, didn't they have the same roll?
Who did?
Calvin and the toys?
No,
they had
Calvin got a
6.
4, the toys had a 6.
Oh, I thought they both had 4s. Okay, never mind.
Nah. Okay, but that's our order that we are going to go in. I'm going to go ahead and let you all know this. The way that this works is obviously everybody has an AC. You have to meet or beat that AC in order to hit them. Quinn and Tom have guns. We've discussed this as a criminal and as a PI. It makes perfect sense that they would own guns. I let them pick what kind of gun they wanted to own because I'm just that nice, and also I know nothing about guns. Calvin is basically running on spellcasting, and also, like, if you want to improvise a weapon, I'll make up how much damage it does right here. I'm perfectly happy to do
Have a
that for you.
bishop's staff.
You should have what?
Have a bishop's staff.
Bonk.
With the little rook at the top and the little sheep.
Can you imagine? All right. So we are going to start with Tom. Obviously, where we left off, the door has slammed shut to partition this room shut. Also, as soon as the eyes glowed red, Jeffrey looked, quite frankly, scared out of his mind and disappeared. So you do not have Jeffrey in this moment. He has evaporated into who knows where.
Well, Jeffrey, you're not helpful at all.
Well, he's just a man that owned a toy store. He didn't even know he was dead until you did something. You know?
I mean, I didn't tell him he was dead.
That's fair. So it's quite possible he doesn't even think he's dead.
He doesn't even know he's dead, but he could help me with his creepy defective toys.
I mean, you know, you win some and you lose some. But Tom, you are surrounded. Toys are currently located on shelves. You all are kind of huddled in the middle of this room. So what would you like to do?
God, I wish I had a bat.
Really?
All right.
Or a golf club. Just...
So is there a display I can hide behind pretty quick?
I'll say that there's like a shelf that you could you could probably duck behind. Like they're kind of set up in not rows in this room, but kind of like lining walls. But there's like a little like cubby almost in between ones that line the two walls. You know what I mean? There's like an empty corner. So if you'd like to duck there, I'll totally let you do that.
Yeah, I just want to get a little bit of cover.
Okay, and that's your bonus action, right? To hide.
Yeah.
Or is that your movement? No, that'd be your bonus action. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so bonus action to hide, and this will give you favor on the roll that you're about to roll, plus an extra d6 to your damage.
And I cast gun.
Fantastic. Is there a particular toy you're aiming for? Just to let you know, I'll give you this for free without having to make an observation roll or anything. The dolls that you're looking at, there are probably like 8 dolls that look like, you know, pigtails, very cute baby dolls, freckles, but they're like Cabbage Patch Kids all grown up, like the toddler version, you know what I mean? But they have on like just dresses and just like the little patent leather shoes. They look non-menacing besides the glowing red eyes and the fact that like a demon voice just came out saying you're not allowed to go back to Penelope. Then the next 8 on a different shelf over, they all look like ventriloquist dummies. Little suits,
You are
bow
such
ties.
a dick.
Maybe.
You are such a dick.
Maybe somebody shouldn't have yelled at me from the bathroom this morning about how ventriloquist dolls are the devil, and I shouldn't have used that GIF on Twitter. Maybe if somebody hadn't done that, this wouldn't be happening.
Look, okay?
Somebody.
I've been very
Somebody.
helpful lately.
So am I in a position where I can kind of shoot down one of the shelves?
I would say at best you can be shooting like around the corner, which could probably get maybe a couple of them, but also maybe a bullet doesn't penetrate all the way through these dolls, but you don't know until you try.
I'm still gonna shoot him.
Go for it. So you're going to shoot just the one that's closest to you?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go with that's one of the normal dolls. So go ahead and roll a d20 for me.
All right, you said advantage.
Yes, and you get favor for this, yeah.
Okay, first is an 8. Second one is a 16.
16 will hit. All right, so go ahead and roll 1d8 plus 1d6.
Ooh, that's a 7 and a 4.
7 and a 4 is 11. Okay.
Does their head explode?
Not quite, but you're getting there.
I just pull it around the corner. Ow! Fuck! It's still alive! Ah!
I gotta start tracking.
All screaming. Tom has no idea what the fuck is happening right now.
Okay, fantastic. I kind of love that. As you should not have any idea what's going on right now. I don't think any of you prepared for a bunch of dolls coming at you like this. Okay, so that moves on from Tom, and we go to Quinn's turn.
I was gonna attack first because fuck them, but I think this is going to be better.
Okay.
I'm going to cast From Beyond,
Okay.
which I may summon 1d4 spirits to help aid in battle or other large tasks, and they stay for 3 rounds.
Okay.
So it's 3 rounds after this round for
Yes.
right? Okay.
Well, actually, it would be 3 rounds, including this round, and we'll just put them into initiative.
Oh, so like they would go next.
Yeah, essentially, they will go right after you
Okay.
from now on.
Yeah, so we'll do that. So is that just an immediate
Your spellcasting is. What do Reapers use as spellcasting? You asked me too quickly. Hold on. I have it right here somewhere.
I probably have it written on here somewhere. No, I don't.
You would think I'd have this memorized, since I made it, but I don't. So my bad.
I don't remember.
Your spellcasting is. Come on. Just let me have it. Intuition. Your spellcasting modifier is intuition. So you roll what you would roll and then add your intuition modifier.
Okay. 11 plus 2, which is 13.
That'll work. Yeah, because you're not attacking anybody, so you don't need to beat an AC. Yeah, 13's fine.
Okay, cool. Great. Please give me a 4. Please give me a 4. 3.
Okay, three's not bad.
Three's not bad.
Three is respectable.
3 is better than 1.
Okay, so now we're gonna add all 3 spirits are just gonna go right after you within initiative. You, I will give you like choices for them, and you will make the choice of what they do. So
Can it be to
for-
set fire to things? Because that would be great.
well, okay, so they're spirits. They, I'm not gonna allow them to set this place on fire. I'm just, as GM, I'm gonna call a no on that.
I call shenanigans.
Buffoonery, if you will.
Call
I
shenanigans.
will absolutely allow them to fight for you, though.
It's
So
not
it,
necessarily a ghost. It's a spirit.
yes, it's a
Which
spirit.
means it has
Um,
magical abilities, which means it could have fire.
I will tell you what. I will allow for fireballs. I will not allow you to set the entire shop aflame.
I
How about
trying
we
to
compromise here?
I wasn't trying to set the entire shop on fire.
Okay, then we'll take it. I'll take it, but especially
because
because this is
because I'm not Giz.
yeah, and you can't
Just
get out of the
sets
shrimp.
everything on fire as he goes.
But yes, I will allow you, or I will allow them to fight on your behalf of fire. Yes, Josh, I know that's the point of Fireball. We are not lighting the shop aflame. They'll all die of smoke inhalation. We will have to roll new characters in episode 2.
Hey, we didn't die last time of smoke inhalation. It's fine.
Barely. We barely didn't die of smoke inhalation.
Look, don't give me that bullshit. We did a really good job.
Okay, so spirits. You've got 3 spirits. They each get 1 attack. They do not get bonus actions or anything like that. They're not living beings. But they do each get an action and a movement if they need it.
Okay. I am gonna go for. Are they on like either side of us? Is that what you said?
There are 3 shelves. There are like a few dolls on this one. Most of the dolls are on the back wall. And then there are a few over here. You also notice on the bottom shelf to the one to your right, there are just 4 little ducks, like the little ones that waddle back and forth when you like turn the crank on the back of them, and they just sort of waddle. Where they go, there are 4 of those sitting on the bottom shelf.
Do they have glowing red eyes?
They do.
You made evil ducks.
Yes.
You're the worst.
I thought they'd be fun.
You're the fucking worst. Okay.
I wear that title proudly.
All right. Well, I'm attacking the ventriloquist dummies because fuck them.
Cool.
Or better yet, I will. I guess a fireball is like is that like a single target or is it like a targeted area?
Single target.
Fuck.
I'm making this up off the top of my head, but yes, single target.
God damn it. I feel like it should be a targeted area.
They're tiny fireballs. Look, these are just like spirits. They're not even taking full forms of people. They're just like wind in the air, if you will.
I had this lovely image of like ghostly looking people.
They're like ghostly looking something. I wouldn't call them full-fledged people, but I would definitely call them shapes.
Like, what if for this situation the spirits I called are like battle toys?
I will let you have that.
Okay.
I
Beyblades?
think yes.
Beyblades. They're all
Beyblades.
Beyblades.
The 3 spirits you called, they take the shape of Beyblades for sure.
Like, I imagine like the army men from Toy Story, only they're bigger.
But they're like a little bit bigger than that. They're like they're not as tall as you are, but they're like 4'5"
Okay.
probably.
All right.
And they're like purple, like they look like they're made of purple gas.
Okay,
Almost
cool.
like they go in and out of shape almost a little bit and glow sort of. It's not necessarily, I don't know that their guns will work in this sort of
They
case,
shoot,
but
they shoot fireballs. It's okay.
okay.
Their guns just shoot out the magic.
Yes.
Actually, okay, so I will have one go to each of the 3 walls
Okay.
and pick a target on each wall. The one that's already been hit before will be at least one of the targets.
Okay, so you're going to target the doll that's right here. I've drawn myself a mini map just so I can keep
You're
track of
good.
what you all murder.
You're cool.
And then one of these and one of these. Okay, so you're going to go after 1 doll and 2 dummies.
Do the dummies take up 2 shelves?
The dummies are sort of spread out. You can see like plainly there's like 8 dolls and 8 dummies, but they're just sort of spread out.
Okay, fine.
Like
I will
they-
do a doll, a dummy, and a duck.
A doll, a dummy, and a duck. Fantastic. Okay, so go ahead and hit or roll. I'm gonna let you roll for these as well since you summoned them. Go ahead and roll 3 d20s for me. And the first number you give me will be for the doll. The second number you give will be for the dummy, and the third will be for the duck.
Okay, am I adding anything to this?
Nope, just straight AC or just straight d20.
Shit. Okay. 13?
That will not hit.
Oh, bullshit.
I'm sorry.
DC's bullshit. Ooh,
It hit me,
that's a
don't
nat,
worry.
That's a nat 20 if that matters.
Well, that will definitely hit the dummy.
Good, fuck it. And a 19.
That will definitely hit the duck. Okay, so the doll, the toy soldier that you have manifested in purple smoke, goes to swing its gun to sort of like hit the doll with the butt of it and completely misses and trips. And like his gas form goes into the bookshelf, and you can see he's trying to recover. Even as a spirit, he's
It's okay,
embarrassed by
man.
what's just happened.
It's okay, man. Get your shit together.
Tom yells out, "That's why I brought a real gun."
The next toy soldier, gaseous form, goes after one of the dummies on the shelves. He swings to do the same thing, but this time he's able to connect. Go ahead and roll 2d6 for me. I'll make their weapon 1d6, but since you got it at 20, I'll go ahead and double that.
Ooh, 6 and a 4, 10.
Fantastic. You go and, or it goes and hits this dummy, and the dummy knocks itself back against a shelf. Its eyes never stop glowing red and never leave its line of focus. It just head snaps back and head snaps forward. But you can tell it's taken damage for sure. It's just absolutely not fazed by what's just happened. So that takes that to that. And then you hit, or the last one hits this duck. Because this room is not very big, I'm going to say that this duck was on the right side. So where do you all think that you'd be located in the room? Like, I know I said you all were all huddled towards the center, but somebody has to be the rightmost person in that centered huddle.
I'm by the door because I was the one who checked.
You were the one that went by the door, so it's definitely not you. I would say that it's probably not Maya either, as she was the first to walk into the room last time, I believe. So she would be the farthest into the room, so she'd be close to the back wall. So Calvin or Tom, which do either of you think you would have instinctively went right instead of left?
Depends where I ducked behind for cover.
Ah, that is fair. I see in my brain you duck to the left, which means Calvin. I am so sorry for what's about to happen.
No, it's okay.
Doll swarm.
So the toy soldier swings, because let's face it, these guns, they shoot fireballs every once in a while, but they're mostly good as a bat at this point in spiritual form. It connects, and this duck just and then explodes. And you take,
I'm so sorry. I didn't know the ducks exploded.
oh, not the right one.
We're learning
I mean,
something.
None of us did.
Where's the
Of course,
D8?
the fucking ducks explode. Well, if you can't
Do
find a
it,
D8,
kids.
it sounds like you have to use D4.
No, sucks to suck. It's a 7. So, Calvin, you take 7 points of damage.
I'm so sorry. And then I'm just gonna yell out, "The ducks explode!"
This duck has exploded and is eliminated. But on the bright side, now you're down to 19 instead of 20. You can do it.
Do, except for the ducks, and this is a question you probably will not answer. Do all of the dolls have the same like HP?
They do not.
Fuck.
You think I'm gonna let you metagame your way through this? Absolutely not.
Look, you specifically put something that I am actually terrified of in this fucking game because you're an asshole.
But I love you.
You are such a dick. You purposefully put one of my fears in this game. And
But it's so you can destroy it.
like 15 of them? Probably
No,
not.
There are 8.
8 of them.
Oh, just 8. Just 8. Great.
And to be fair, I just got to face my real fear in Avernus, so everybody gets to do it. You can thank Ryan.
What did you face in Avernus?
Water.
Oh, that's fair. You didn't drown.
I didn't drown, but I thought I was going to drown for a hot second, but I made an intelligence saving throw and succeeded.
This is bullshit.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I was
Now
gonna
he's
say, I
gonna
didn't drown
you.
yet. Bring it on.
Now he's gonna fucking drown you.
Bring it on. I welcome the challenge.
I'm not saving Jade.
Okay, so your 3 spirits have gone. Your turn is done. We then move to Maya. I am, obviously, as playing Maya, I'm going to use one of her creator spells. It is actually one of my favorite ones that I made, and I have not had the chance to use it yet. So this is called, I have to scroll back to it because I had to go find what you used for spellcasting.
Also, please, everyone pardon me. I am going to shove even more Halloween candy in my face this entire game.
That's all right.
Rather than, like, go upstairs and eat some of the pizza in our refrigerator.
Okay. So,
Last time I went to the
Maya,
grocery, I bought a giant bag of Werther's Originals.
heck yes.
I am so sad because they're only seasonal, but my absolute favorite ones are the green
Candy
apple
apple.
ones.
Yep.
Oh god, they're so fucking good. They taste like little caramel apples, but they're seasonal, so you can only get them during the fall, so they're already gone. I'm
Fierce.
hoarding the rest of what is in my last bag of them slowly.
Okay, so now that I've got this pulled up, Maya is going to use Out of Thin Air, which is a creator spell. It costs 3 points and is an action, so it will take her whole turn to do this. The caster draws an object in the air and then acts as if they are grabbing it, turning it into a real object. This object can be used just as if it were the real thing. Objects that have a specific use, such as a key, cannot be universally made. This object is good for this scene or combat only and will then disappear into dust. Maya panics because, toys don't come to life. So she draws the first thing that she can think of, and she's going to draw a sword in the air, and then she's going to grab it, and it's going to be a real sword. So Maya uses her whole action to do this, but as you kind of watch her, she just takes her hand and makes motions in the air and then swings her arm, and all of a sudden there is a giant sword in her hands. Like I said, that's going to be her entire turn. She's not going to use her movement in this. She's just going to kind of stay near this back wall. And she will also not be using a bonus action in any way. So Maya's turn is done. Next come the toys. So like I said, this is fun because I have a lot of toys, but I absolutely was not giving them all different initiatives because that's a headache and a half. And quite frankly, I just can't do it.
Maybe you shouldn't have come up with 20 toys.
Well, guess
Just a
what?
thought.
I did.
Just a thought.
That's fine. Next time I'll make one gigantic thing for you all to fight that has a massive amount of HP instead.
See, I prefer that because then there's only one thing I can hit.
Okay. So what we're going to do is the majority of these dolls are going to start climbing down their shelves to make their way to the floor. A couple of them, though, are going to stay up as high as they can, very near Tom's face, because nobody has successfully killed the doll that he shot yet. So this doll kind of, you can't see it at first because you're in the corner in between these two shelves, but one doll just sort of peeks its head out very slowly and looks at you with wide blue eyes and goes, "Hi, my name is Dolly, and I'm here to be your worst friend." And it's going to proceed to punch you in the face. Because I was like, why not? So, Tom, remind me what your AC is, please.
13.
Well, she rolled a 16. So she's going to go
You
ahead
got punched in the face by a doll.
Yeah.
And Avernus, I got stabbed in the leg by a toddler. Now I'm getting punched by a doll.
You're going to take 5 points of damage for that.
When did you get stabbed in the leg by a toddler?
That was last episode when I was trying to save her dying father. That freaked out and seized up, and I was trying to help him, and then the kid went mad, and I said that Giz had to take care of it because Jade will not hurt children.
Oh, that's right.
Okay, so
So I
you
hit her
take
with
5 points of
staff.
damage from that one. The one that is closest to Quinn is actually a dummy, and
Of course it fucking is.
he is
You
going to
dick.
try. He's going to try to bite you, because I just think it's funny.
You're such a fucking dick. I'm so mad at you right now.
You love me. That's not going to beat your AC. Your AC is a 15, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's only an 8.
Good. Fuck you, bitch.
That doesn't do anything. So he like goes to chomp on your leg, and he just bites the dust. Head hits the floor face down. It's really just an unhappy sight. The one that is closest to Calvin, actually no, first we'll resolve Maya. The one that's closest to Maya is going to try to hit her. It's another doll with pigtails. This doll in particular has like bright red hair and freckles and green eyes, and Maya is just sort of staring at it intently, and can't seem to move from the position she's in. She's just very freaked out by the sight of this. Oh, that's a 6, so that's not gonna happen. So it swings, and even though Maya is absolutely not moving, it's just very tiny. So it just swings its arm out really hard and can't make contact because Maya is standing just too far away from the shelf. Now, Calvin, you're standing there and you see a small duck just waddling across the floor. It looks very happy, minus the glowing red eyes. But it just slowly waddles up to you and looks up and goes, and then explodes.
They're walking
I hate
bombs.
They're walking bombs. I was
And
like,
it takes 2 of them right off the bat. Jesus Christ.
when I thought about it when I was making all of these, I was like, what would be really fun? Those little waddling toys. They need to be more threatening than that. And so I was like, you know what? We're making them bombs, because what's more fun than that? Like, what's more fun than just like something so innocent and unassuming being so awful that it is the one thing that always hits you and does not have to roll for it. That's a 7. So Calvin, you take 7 damage from your little duck friend. But on the bright side, that means there's another duck out of the way.
Calvin, what's your HP?
35 to start.
What are you down to?
How much was the first one again?
I think
That
that
would put
one
me
was
at 28.
also 7.
Okay, so that's 21 then.
But now we're at Calvin's turn. So Calvin, what would you like to do in this situation?
So, question.
Yeah.
Mirror image. That image, can it also cast in addition to me casting?
You know what?
It's a clone
I'm
that acts in
So
my mannerism.
interested to see what happens that I'm gonna say yes. Yes, it can.
Loophole shenanigans.
Nope.
Can I
gonna ask-
Domino's?
Alright.
Now, did I think about that when I made that spell? No, I certainly did not. But I am absolutely gonna let you do it because it sounds like fun.
Well, it doesn't say one way or the other, so I just wanted to find out. Or does it? Hold on, let me see if there's anything on the next page. No, it does not say. Okay. But it's also vulnerable to damage. It feels like it would, but... Well, then I'm going to spend my turn casting that to create another image of myself. And I'm going to put it toward... They're sort of surrounding us, right?
Yes. On
Okay.
3 sides. On the one side that they're not on currently is the like partition that slams shut that you all can't get.
Okay. So then I'm going to put it toward that side. The image, that
Okay.
is. So it's more out of harm's way and can cast from there, but that's an action to do it. As far as a movement goes, I'm going to try to get away from any of these ducks. These things seem terribly dangerous.
I mean, you would not be incorrect in your
There's
statement.
just 2 left. You're
There's
fine.
just two. There's just two little duck bombs left. They're so innocent and unassuming, and they love you so
Duck
much.
bombs. That sounds.
Okay, I want
like
to move
a
away
fucking-
from them.
like
Okay.
a Sake bomb that you would take at a sushi restaurant. Duck bombs.
Okay, so you're gonna move to the opposite side of the room over toward the left shelf. The left shelf has no duck bombs on it. But and you go ahead and cast mirror image, and the second Calvin appears right beside of Quinn, near the partition door that has closed shut. He looks exactly like you in every way. You can also cast, he uses all of your same casting as well. So we will go ahead and put him after you in initiative, and you will go
Oh,
ahead
sweet.
and decide all of his actions and things for him. He can do anything that you can do. But you also roll for him, and he has all the same stats you do.
You're being very generous.
I am. You know why? Because this
Because
is...
you feel bad?
No, I
Because
I
you
do
feel
not
bad
feel
that you
bad.
did this to me?
at all. No, not at all. I'm doing it because it's your first combat in the system, and I am being nice enough because I put you next to 20 enemies. I do not feel bad at all
I
that
hung
they're
shelves-
ventriloquist
I hung
dummies.
shelves for you.
You did hang shelves for me.
and
You were so
many
sweet.
pictures.
You did.
And this is the thanks I get.
You shouldn't have yelled at me from the bathroom today.
I yelled at you because they were creepy, because I don't like them.
I love you.
I'm mad at you right now.
I'll make you cake or something later.
Mhm.
Okay, so Calvin 2, as we will be calling him from now on, he also has does it say in mirror image exactly when he disappears?
Yes, it gives conditions.
What are those conditions? I do not
So
remember.
it's lasts for 30 in-game minutes, or until taking more than 10 points of damage in
In a
like,
single
a-
turn, right?
I think so, but that.
Okay.
What's happening on this page? Why is this happening?
I'm just making a note for myself as to when to eliminate him from initiative order. All right, so go ahead.
Yeah, in a single
and-
turn of combat. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
so go ahead
why I
and
forget.
just decide what you would like Calvin number 2 to do. Since you conjured him, I will let him have a turn this round.
Calvin number 2 is gonna burn my PowerPoints, burn them away,
Lovely.
and cast Parting of the Sea and hit as many of these things as possible, just the greatest number possible.
For those that are watching, please read what Parting of the Sea is and what is
Parting of
possibly
the
my
Sea.
favorite spell that I created for this whole game.
So, you call divine energy to yourself and then direct it from your person in a single direction of your choosing, causing an open path to be created. Anyone touched by the energy and forced out of the way takes 3d6 damage. So I am Mosesing these people.
Okay,
apart.
so I need you to pick a direction, and I also need you to keep in mind you have Calvin number 2 is casting this, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so Calvin number 2 has to pick a direction to cast it. They are all on shelves that are closed off at the end, so he can't shoot it down a shelf
Why not?
necessarily. Because there's something in the way?
Yeah, there's an obstacle.
Wouldn't it go
Hmm.
through it?
Not necessarily.
There's
Depends.
nothing for it to part. There, it is a solid thing that is in front of it.
Yeah, it's not liquid.
Yeah.
It would force everything off the shelf, though.
But you can't shoot down the side of the shelf when the shelf is enclosed.
I think that's ridiculous.
I think you want to kill these dummies as fast as
And-
possible.
I call bullshit.
And then can my duplicate move or my mirror
Yes,
image move
yes,
to
he has
better
movement.
position then?
Yeah, he
Okay.
has movement for sure.
So we'll do that first so I can actually hit more of them.
Okay.
Also, this is what it's like when IDM and you guys are like, but shouldn't it do this? And I'm like, nah.
I would say that I feel bad, but I don't,
I
feel bad.
at all.
Shouldn't. It's
So-
part of the fun.
Yeah, so it's fine.
Don't feel bad at all.
Yeah, Calvin number 2 can move
Okay.
to be somewhere else. A lot of these dummies have now, the dummies and dolls have moved to the floor. So if he would like to try to strike some of them that are on the floor, I will allow for that.
Absolutely.
There is going to be like one line that he would be able to get where he can hit like probably 4 of them that doesn't impede and hit any of you all.
Good.
So I'm assuming you'd like to use that line.
I sure would.
Fantastic. You go ahead and roll for that spell for me. Your spell casting modifier is Faith. Yes.
Ah, yes. That's right. So I'll add that to the damage.
Yes. No, you'll add that first to see if you can hit their AC.
Right. Okay. Roll good. Sigh. It's an 11.
An 11 only beats the AC of a duck.
Fine. Kill it.
One more duck, man.
Better than nothing.
Okay, so the good news is though that this duck is not closest to you. This duck is closest to someone else, and that would be Quinn. So Quinn will now take this duck bomb, which is this.
If it's
guy.
another 7, I call shenanigans.
It is a 5.
Okay.
So you take 5 points of damage from another duck bomb. But the good news is that's the third duck bomb out. So we only have one more duck bomb that's in the room that I can torture you all with. And the rest are dolls and dummies. So that is Calvin's number 2's turn.
I just had a really good idea.
So we are back up to Tom.
So this little doll that just punched me in the face.
Yes.
She's right
Yes.
there.
Yes, she did. Yeah, the doll that punched you is still fairly close. Like she didn't try to climb down or anything. She's very much a face your enemy head on sort of person, doll thing. So she's very content with being up here.
And is that the one that I shot earlier?
Yes,
Shoot her in
which
the
is why she punched you in the face.
Shoot her in the face!
I pull my gun right between her dead little fucking eyes
And I pulled out my
and
gun!
say, "This is why I always double tap." And I shoot her again.
Fantastic. Okay, so go ahead and roll for attack for me.
Not one.
No!
The gun's right there.
So this
Roll
is
that
what's
one.
gonna happen.
Misfire.
Oh no, I'm making it much worse than that. This is nat 1.
Can I burn like a PowerPoint or something?
Yeah, you
Oh,
can.
you absolutely cannot.
I know, right?
He can't spark for a reroll?
He can spark for a reroll. He cannot burn PowerPoint.
Yes.
If he
but
was,
you
if this
said
is
we
how,
get a spark at the top of each.
yes,
Okay.
if he would like to
I'll
to
spark
spend
it.
his spark to reroll,
Yeah.
I will allow for that. But he asked if he could spend PowerPoints, which I said absolutely not.
Use your spark, man.
So
Okay, so
sparking
you
it up.
go ahead and spend your spark. For those that were not here last week or those who just don't remember, because I
15.
explained it very quickly, 15 will hit. Sparks are something that you get at free, one free at the top of every session. They can also be earned by doing super cool things or making me laugh and me thinking something's really funny because I give them out when I want to. You can stack up to 3 at a time. Sparks can be used to regain half of your power points. You can regain 5 power points at a time. You can use as a reroll, including on natural ones if you would like. And also, I have discussed the inventory of these players with them as to what they would actually carry on their person or what they believe their character would carry around on a regular basis. If they need something that is not on their person, they may spend a spark to have it instead. And that's how that works. But a 15 will absolutely hit.
Shoot him in the face.
Go ahead and roll. Yeah, go ahead and roll damage for me, and that's a D8, but you do not get the D6 because she absolutely knows you were there.
And I pulled out my gun.
7.
Okay. So you shoot this doll right between the eyes. It immediately stumbles backwards and crashes against the back of the shelf and just sort of rocks for a minute, its eyes shut, and it pauses and looks up at you. And the red in its eyes looks like it could turn to fire at any moment. It is absolutely not down, but it looks awful. There is just a bullet hole right between its eyes, smoke still coming out of it from the like velocity of the bullet, but you also notice the bullet did not go all the way through. So as it rocks back and forth, you can hear the bullet shake in its hollow head.
Ew, gross.
Tom's gonna bonus action high
Okay, yes, that's fair.
because
So
he's
if
scared.
Drew, what did you roll? Did you say a 7?
he said a 7.
I rolled a
yeah.
7 damage on top of the 11 I did earlier.
Yes, you can bonus action hide behind the shelf. Not where you were, but I'll allow you to sort of slip behind the shelf now because she, even though she is on her deathbed and very much looks like she could murder you with a single look now, she would be smart enough to just kind of look there. But I'll allow you to slip behind the bookshelf.
I
so
duck back
you
and
can-
yell out, I think I might have activated something. Don't look me in the eyes.
Fantastic. Okay, so that is your turn, and we move to Quinn.
I have a question.
Yes.
Can my army men
Yes.
lift objects?
I'm gonna say yes because I called them spirits, and I also said that Jeffrey was a spirit and he was lifting the boxes and stuff in the back. So I will
Cool.
say that
Alright.
your army men can lift things.
I got this shit. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is this little fucker who tried to bite me. I am going to burn some more PowerPoints.
Fantastic.
And I am going to use Conduit for the Living.
Great.
And I will read that for everyone.
Yes, please.
Conduit
Sounds
for the
fun.
Living. The caster rolls 1d10 and takes that many HP from a target. They then gift that HP to another creature within 30 feet, including themselves.
Nice.
So I'm gonna take that little fucker's HP.
Fantastic.
So I roll spellcasting, right? First.
Yes.
Okay. That is a 16.
That'll work.
Cool. Where is my D10? Here we go. 9. Okay. So I'm gonna take those 9 HP and I'm gonna gift them to Calvin.
Okay, so Calvin, go ahead and add 9 to your HP counter, and this little guy's will go down by 9. So he is not down yet, but he's definitely looking hurt.
Has he had any damage before this?
He has. Yeah, he had 10 damage on his first one.
Oh shit. Okay. All right. I'm ready for my spirits now.
Fantastic. Okay, so go ahead and roll for, or your spirits can obviously attack. They can take one action. So if you would like, they could attack. They could try to do something else in the room if there's something else you have in mind for them.
At least one spirit
Yes.
is going to pick up the duck bomb
The last one left alive.
Yes. and
Yes.
throw it at another target.
Okay, what target would you like it to throw it at?
Let's throw it at is there anything else that's taken damage other than the doll and the dummy?
No, all the rest of them are still at perfect health.
Okay, I guess just a random dummy.
Just a random
Just
dummy.
pick a dummy.
We'll go with this one. So sure. So he kind of picks up this duck, kind of tosses it in the air a couple times for good measure, and you kind of hear this little duck bomb panicked and go. And he's just all over the place. He just keeps looking around, thinking something can save him from being thrown around in the air. Obviously, nothing can.
Also, before you do this, I would like to add a random dummy that is not like close to someone.
Fair of you to say.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's fine. The one I picked is like in a corner anyway.
Okay,
So-
cool.
Okay, so we're gonna roll this.
Right next to Calvin.
Right next to Calvin.
He takes
Oh.
every duck.
And this toy soldier kind of just keeps plopping him up in the air, settles his eyes on a dummy that's just finished climbing down from his shelf. So he's just sort of crouched at the bottom of this shelf, kind of the dummy's looking around trying to figure out who it should be going after. And the toy soldier kind of centers its gaze before throwing this duck square at this dummy to where it hits him in the head, and as it bounces up and into the air, you just hear and then the duck explodes upon landing back on the dummy. That dummy is going to take 5 points of damage.
I didn't even get to roll the damage.
I rolled the damage because it was a duck bomb and I made the duck bombs.
That's fair.
But that dummy has now taken 5 damage, so that is your first spirit out. So what are you going to do with your other 2 spirits?
My second spirit is going to take a crack at the dummy that I hit.
Okay.
And I guess just can I stomp on him?
Yeah, I will absolutely allow for it to stomp on him. I think that sounds lovely. So this, both of them are one or both are going to go after that dummy.
Just one right now.
Okay, so one toy soldier you see kind of scampers across the room, seeing that you've been attacked, and obviously as the person that summoned it, it feels like a connection to you to try to protect you. So it looks down at this doll, and you see what like these don't have facial features exactly, but you can see its eyebrows furrow like it's angry, and it just tries to stomp on its head. Go ahead and roll an attack roll for me.
Without anything added, I rolled a 17.
Beautiful, that'll work. And then go ahead and I'll make it a D6. Why not? That sounds reasonable enough.
That's a 4.
All right, so that dummy is going to take those 4 points of damage. It is still not down.
This is bullshit.
Get good, I suppose. I don't know what to tell you.
I have done so much damage to this dummy.
You have. It's not done.
I'm keeping track of how much damage I've done.
I'm keeping track too.
Okay.
It's not done yet.
So then the other spirit is going to go over to the doll that Giz, oh my god, the Tom shot. They're all blending together.
Fucking bang!
It's fine.
Fucking bang! That Tom shot and punch it in the face.
That'll work. Okay, so go ahead and roll for me.
That is a.
This one with the fire eyes.
Yes,
That is a 15.
that will work.
Okay.
That will meet its AC. So you go ahead and go ahead and roll attack for me.
Is that a d6?
Yeah,
That is
We're
also
just gonna
another 4.
that'll work. This doll was already standing on its last leg anyway. The spirit saunters over to this doll, who again is just eyes of fire with a smoking bullet hole in its face. It's rocking back and forth, and you can hear the bullet hit the front of its skull every time it rocks forward, and it just punches it straight in the face. You hear the bullet fly back and hit the back of the skull as it flies back itself and slams into the back of the shelf. and when it lands to sit up, and the fire just slowly dies from its eyes until its eyes are black and cavernous, and small tear streaks of black run down its face.
That's almost sad.
Things that aren't okay.
What I specialize in, the creepy and almost sad.
It's almost sad.
But with that doll is now gone for. It's just completely wrecked. So only 7 more dolls to go.
Okay. That's all my stuff.
What?
It's Maya's good.
So then we move to Maya. Maya's going to take that sword that she conjured up for herself last time, and she sees a few dolls that like a doll and a couple of dummies that have settled on a shelf in the back of the room. It looks like they were probably planning to try to jump Maya at some point.
Baseball swing that shit.
That is exactly what she will be doing.
Yes.
So Maya takes this sword that she's kind of like comfortably fitted in her hands now that she's created it from the air, and does like an entire baseball swing, just slashing. It almost looks like it goes in slow motion because swords are awesome. And she is going to try to hit these 3 all together. I could pick up the right dice. There we go. That is going to be an 18, which will meet all of their ACs. So she will go ahead, and this sword is going to be a D12, mostly because it's a sword. We gotta love swords. There we go. There's a
The
D12.
sword has so much more power than a gun.
Well, look.
Maybe I should have made the gun a D10.
You know what? I just made up the sword stats off the top of my head, but I'm sticking by them.
No,
this
you
is a
should.
hill I
You
die
100% should.
on. They each are going to take 10 damage from that. So that's 10 damage for this doll. That's 10 damage for this one. And that's 10 damage for this one. Yep. There we go. Okay, so that is pretty much Maya's successful turn. Once she is able to do that, she's going to use her movement to get behind a bookshelf, but she's not going to do anything after that. She's just going to stay there for a minute. And that is going to be Maya's turn. Then the toys get to go.
So we've only taken out 6 of these 20.
Yes.
Fucking Christ. Okay.
But if it makes you feel better, some of them are looking fairly hurt at this point.
Okay.
So, what they're going to do is they are going to kind of form a wall. Those that have already gotten on the ground, they're going to form a wall kind of in front of the partitioned door that has shut, just in rows, because they pretty much know if you want to get out, you have to go through them, and that's their only game plan at this point. They're not very smart. Like, stats wise, learn is not high. Those that are still on the shelf, one of them, there are only a couple left. The 3 that Maya just hit, and then there are a couple on each side that have stayed behind. One of them is going to jump and try to hit Calvin. Calvin, what's your AC?
Calvin's taking all the damage today.
Okay, but look, Tom hid behind a bookshelf. They can't reach him behind the bookshelf. I don't know what to tell you. They can't get to him. They can't get to Maya. So you and Calvin,
Yeah,
you're out here.
I know.
Also Calvin number 2. They can go after him too. What'd you say it was, Calvin?
15.
Well, that's a shame because I rolled an 11. So that one, like, he climbs. It's a dummy that climbs to the top of the bookshelf. He like straightens his little bow tie and then just jumps. But the thing is,
Oh,
he
bam!
miscalculates how far he's supposed to jump out, so he just jumps and then slams into the floor. And he actually
Excellent.
takes damage himself. He takes fall damage, which is just rough. Where is a D4? He's got like a wooden body, so it like
Can we use bonus actions to like swat them out of the air?
if only. Well, that's a 4, so he's gonna take the most damage that he could take. So that is going to be. He's down to that now. He's looking pretty bad off. The wood sort of splinters in different places. He lifts his head up off the floor, and you can see that one like eyeball has sort of like fallen a little bit and like is like lazy-eyed now because it's just fallen out of his head. So that's really unfortunate for him.
That sucks to be him, man.
A doll is going to come up to Calvin number 2 and try to see what damage she can do. Now, none of you have been touched by one of these dolls yet, but now you're about to learn what happens. So this doll comes up and touches Calvin number 2 on the
I've
leg.
been punched.
Yeah,
Well, yes,
Tom
you
got
were
punched.
you were temporarily touched, but not in the way that's about to happen.
It was not a
so-
bad touch.
There's a bad touch and a good touch, okay? So this doll comes up to Calvin number 2 and just places her hand on his leg. And at first it doesn't look like anything happens. At first it looks like this doll is just like trying to like befriend a human, I guess, which couldn't be creepy enough. But then on top of that, what actually happens is after a second you start to see smoke come up from the pants leg of Calvin number 2, and everything starts to glow red, and you realize that she's burning him. So we're just gonna roll this. Daggone it, that's only a 3. Alright, so Calvin number 2 takes 3 damage as this doll tries to burn him and incinerate him. She's like I said, the dolls aren't super smart. She probably assumes that this is Calvin number 1, but she was like, we'll just try it and see. But apparently the dolls, not necessarily the dummies, but the dolls can burn people. Who would have known? Fire eyes and all. So that is her turn, and then a doll will also come up to Quinn and attempt to touch your leg.
Bitch.
So we're gonna see if that works. Daggone it. What's your AC again? 16?
15.
15? Yeah, that's still not high enough.
Good.
So
Okay.
she goes to touch you and you just sort of step out of the way.
I'm
You're
just
like,
gonna yell bad touch and step
Yeah.
back.
there you go, bad touch, and you just step away. So that is the toys' turn. Most of them used all of their movement to get over to the door, and were kind of like, hey, I'm gonna be a defender here. So Calvin gets to go next. Do you know what you would like to do?
What? Did I lose internet for a second?
I think you
might have.
did.
Yeah. I'm sorry, my bad. What?
No, you're totally cool. It is your turn, and you may let me
Okay.
know what you would like to do
Yeah, I
when you're ready.
completely didn't hear that. Sorry. Okay.
No, you're fine.
Not sure what happened. All right. I was looking it up. Sparks can get you get you power points back, right?
Sparks can. Sparks will get you 5 power points back.
Oh,
They-
hot diggity.
But they top off at 10. So if you're like at 7, you only get 3 back.
Yeah. Is spending that an action?
No, that's just a thing you can do.
That's powerful. All right. Well, I'm
What can I
gonna
say?
do
I'm a
that.
generous GM.
I'm gonna spend 1 and bump myself back up to 7
Fantastic.
because I was getting real low. And then I'm gonna go for Parting of the Sea again.
Fantastic.
blast those bitches.
Well, the good news is they've lined up in front of the door.
Yes, they have.
In a defense mechanism, like
Balls.
they're not smart. It does not occur to them at all that this could be used for mass damage. It's more of like a protect the door, do not let them leave situation. So yeah, feel free. You can absolutely use your movement to sort of go over there and line up in front of the door. Let's see, I said there were 3, 2, and 2. So I said there were 7 left on the shelves. So anything that is not those 7 that is still in the game are lined up in front of those doors. So you will hit all of them.
Awesome. Let's roll this.
Okay,
bad
1, 2.
boy.
Okay, so you will hit 7 of them with this.
No, I won't, but I'm using a spark to re-roll it if I can
Okay.
do that.
Yeah, you can do that. I'll give you an
Oh,
extra
that's
one for
so
earlier for your
much
parting
better.
the sea coolness that you did, and
I
also
just wanna
coming up
watch
with the
all
mirror
of these
image.
things fucking explode.
I'll give it to you. Why not?
That was absolutely worth it. That's a 20 total then.
Okay, it's
Dirty
20
Tiffany.
total. Okay, a dirty Tiffany indeed. All right, so you're going to hit 7 of these. Go ahead and roll damage for me, which is 3d6, I believe.
3d6, it's 13.
13 damage to each of them. Well, that will do just lovely. So this one's gone. This one's gone. This one's gone.
I want nothing to do with these. Get them away.
I'm about to soccer punt the
6.
fuck out of one of them. That's my next turn.
7. Fantastic. All right. So as you do this, you line up at the edge of all of these, and as one unit, they all turn their head to look at you, eyes glowing red.
Not a
Um,
euphemism. Not a
No,
euphemism.
not a euphemism. So you stand and just hold your hands out, and blue energy, the same energy that you saw when you were healing Malcolm in the kitchen, goes and crackles in your hands as a ball forms, and then you push your hands out and see one line shoot out, and the dolls their eyes all collectively get bigger for a half a second before the energy blasts through, and if they are on the side that is closest to the door, they all slam in like a sickening crash all up against the wall at once. And you see that they hit head first, so their head just sort of cracks, and then their bodies all fall to the floor, and collectively, all at once, the fire just leaves their eyes, and pools of black return, and black tears streak down their face as they look cracked and broken in different ways, some of them landing with limbs at like sickening angles. The other half, obviously, fly the other way, which is where everybody's standing. So some of you just see dolls flying at you, and you step out of the way so they crash against the back bookshelf. One's head is clean decapitated from its body by a shelf.
Thank fucking God.
And others just tend to land in places, but again, all of their eyes drain, turn to black, and tears streak down their face, some of them having cracks across the forehead now, one's jaw even breaking and being to the side. But now there are 7 more dead, lifeless toys sitting around you, and you all are down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You're down to the 7 that are on the shelves, 3 on the back shelf and 2 on either side shelf.
Oh, I can't punt any of them. Oh,
I mean, if you want to pick it up and punt it, I won't argue that. That's a thing you can
I wouldn't
do.
advise that. I'd say probably don't.
Would it burn you? Perhaps.
That's what I was like. If I touch it, does it burn me? Or if it's only if
Maybe.
it touches me.
You'll never know until you try.
Assume the worst.
Can I just roundhouse kick one off a fucking shelf into
You
a
can
wall?
try. You can try to, if you would like. I'm not going to tell you no, but I am going to make the dice roll very hard.
Just karate kick it off the fucking shelf, or just into the back of
do
the
it.
shelf.
I mean, from what I remember, Quinn is not trained in karate. That's not something we've talked about.
Look, I've got pretty good finesse.
Look, I mean, you do. I'm not saying you don't. And if you want to try for it, I will make you do a finesse roll. But
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying. I'm just letting you know.
She's got some abilities. She's a private investigator. She's got to keep her shit tight.
That's fair.
All right. Okay. Because I haven't gotten to do it yet, I'm gonna shoot one.
Go for it.
Because this is the
What
first
about my
time
turn though?
I've gotten to use a gun.
Oh,
yeah, we're
wait,
on
no,
Tom's
you
turn.
are
Never mind.
you are right. This is Tom's turn.
Tom's turn.
What about my mirror?
I jumped the
Oh,
gun.
wait,
I got
no,
very
we
excited.
Oh, and Calvin,
we
too.
got Calvin too.
Oh,
Yeah, I've got my
daggone it! It
mirror
was
image.
just the toy's turn, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, but Calvin number 2's turn. Very fair.
Well, that was successful the first time, so I'm going to repeat it, going for the 3 on the shelf because that's the largest group.
fantastic. I will
Going
totally
for
let
parting
you
of the
do that.
seas again.
Again, you can't do it directly from the side, but I will let you do it from an angle, so it sort of slams like 1 to one side and 2 to the other. But yeah, go ahead and roll attack for me. And that's with your faith
No,
modifier.
a good roll.
The explanation of the dirty Tiffany
decent.
is Ryan's fault. He went to say a dirty 20 in our Avernus campaign, and he said a dirty Tiffany instead. So dirty 20s are now referred to as dirty Tiffany's, and
Yes.
it will never go away.
Yep, I will never let him
And
live
that
it.
Trying to
brings me
say
Never.
20, Tink, and Tiffany in the same sentence,
that-
and I botched it.
Was
You tried really hard though.
it makes my heart so happy that it bothers him.
I gotta figure out a way to make a dirty Tiffany an emote. It's really hard with big words, but I'll try to figure it out.
A D20 with Tiff's face on all of them.
That'd be amazing.
Okay, so you're going to go ahead and hit. What did you roll for your
It's
attack?
a 16.
A 16? Yeah, that'll definitely work. So you go and form, or Calvin number 2 rather, you watch as Calvin number 2 struts over, forms the same crackling ball of energy and pushes it. But this time, instead of slamming into walls, the shelf is just sort of separated and one flies and cracks its neck on the side of one shelf. And the other 2 sort of crash into the side of on the other side of the shelf, and they both land in like very twisted angles. One is like half fallen off of the shelf. Roll damage for me.
Already got it with a 3d6 at the 12.
Fantastic. So with a 12, one of them is all the way down. So the one that's neck cracked, as its body sort of slumps and relaxes, you see the fire drain from its eyes and everything goes black, and the same tears fall down, this time some of them even pooling at the bottom of where it lays on the shelf. So that one is gone. The other 2 with a 12 will take that damage. So that one is at that, and that one is at that. Okay, so you all are down to 6. And they have just, they're pushing themselves back up onto the shelf, trying to like figure out its twisted angles. One dummy even takes its leg and yanks it to where it's back in place where it should be, so it can walk again if it needs to. And that's and that's where we end with those. So then we are on to Tom's turn.
All right,
Who's
so
currently
I'm
hiding behind a
hiding
bookshelf.
behind a bookshelf.
You can pull out your
If I were to
gun.
try to tip this over, what would I hit?
If you tip over the shelf that you are currently at, you will hit Calvin number 2, but you will not hit any of your like living, breathing compatriots, and you will also do damage to the 2 things that are on the shelf. which
Calvin 2's
are-
not real. He can take it.
Yeah, Calvin 2's not real.
Yeah,
I
he
will
did.
say if you roll more than 10 damage in this turn, Calvin number 2 goes away.
But it's also identical to me in appearance, so it's kind of weird that you would kill it.
That's fair. You actually give me an observation roll. I want to know if you can tell the difference.
I mean,
Observation. Okay, D10, and
Are
that gets
you-
an extra.
Are you
+2,
willing
right?
to take the risk?
That's a 2 + 2 is a 4 on observation.
Okay, so with a 4, you can't be fully sure which Calvin this is. Like, you're pretty sure it's the fake one. You're pretty sure. But there's a big part of you that pretty sure is not super sure about it. Like, you're just that pretty sure feels less and less confident with every moment that passes. But you're like weighing the option of like, would somebody die if they were crushed by a bookshelf? Like, is it really that big of a deal to crush somebody with a bookshelf? With your criminal tendencies, I'm gonna go with you probably think it's not. But
I feel like it's a risk that we're willing to take personally, but
I mean,
Tom
that's
is-
Tom's decision.
Tom is definitely willing to take this risk.
Okay, well then, fantastic. Push over the bookshelf. Let's see what happens. Roll
Tom starts grunting and fucking goes at it.
just roll a d20 for me. Never did I think I would need to come up with an
The
AC for
start
the
of that
bookshelf.
sentence, Tom starts grunting and goes at it.
I knew I should have had a
Just
morning
a
drink, a noon drink.
You should have had a noon coffee, man.
Just a reminder, this is a mature stream.
13 on the die.
13. Yeah, I'll give that to you. The DC was 10, so yeah, totally. You could knock over a bookshelf. Why not? It's not that they're even super heavy shelves. It's just like just a basic wooden shelf. Like, you very easily just kind of slam your shoulder into it, and it goes and tips. You can see that. Or from the front, you'd be able to see. From Tom's vantage point, you can't. But from the front, you would be able to see this doll and this dummy that sit here. Their eyes go wide and they sort of frantically try to find purchase somewhere, but there's really nowhere to find purchase when gravity has found you. And so the shelf slowly tips and tips until it slams and hits the ground, and also falls on top of Calvin.
Mike, I swear to God.
Or Calvin number 2, but you can see now as roll damage for me. Go ahead and roll let's call this 2d6. I don't know why, but that feels correct, so it's what we're going with.
I do
First
not
one's
have
a 5.
collection. I just
Second
have the one
one
that Charles gave
is a
me,
3.
and it's currently in
So
Evansville.
what'd you get total?
8.
An
8
8?
damage.
Okay, well then Calvin number 2 does not even disappear. He just sort of grunts as he hits the ground, face
He does
down.
because he's already
Are
taken
these-
3.
Oh yeah, it's within a single turn of combat. The writing
yeah,
says
it's a
in
new
a
turn.
single
Does it
turn
say a
of
single
combat.
turn? Oh,
Yeah, single turn.
So he's still
Heck
good?
yeah.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, 'cause I
he's
started the
still
new turn.
fine.
Look
Why
at
did I
Calvin
write it
too,
like that?
though.
The world may never know. But I did, and so I have to stick by that now. So he's
That's cool.
fine. He just sort of lays there kind of in shock for a minute. Calvin number 2, being a mirror image, does act in your mannerisms, but doesn't exactly have a pain response. So he just sort of is laying there wide-eyed, like he's not totally sure what to do with the world. But with 8 damage, that will eliminate one doll.
And is the other one trapped under the bookcase?
Yes, the other one is trapped. Actually, no, that will eliminate them both. So they both slam to the ground. They can only see a little bit of light, sort of where the shelf is at a slant because of Calvin number 2's body. But as you look through there, you can see light leave their eyes. And these 2 are done. You can also see the black ooze
pour
that
from their
has-
eyes. Yes.
no,
Yes.
no. The black that has poured from the eyes of other dolls seems to maybe just be ichor in their head, because the dummy that has slammed to the ground, with the force of the impact, there has become a huge crack in the back of his head, and ichor just pours out of it, pooling around him like blood.
That's
So-
gross.
There you go.
I look over at Calvin number 1 and say, full disclosure, full transparency, that felt really fucking awkward. Just felt like I needed to say it.
I appreciate your hesitation, at least.
Oh, I didn't hesitate.
There was none of that.
It just felt really weird.
Sorry.
You all are down to 1 doll and 3 dummies.
What's
Okay,
that?
is it my turn now?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so I'm gonna shoot these fuckers.
Go for it.
So I'm gonna shoot the first one. Is that just
Okay, so which one do you want to hit?
What is left?
If you all are paying very close attention to this and I did this wrong, don't worry about it. It's fine. But I think that what is left is 2 dolls on the back shelf or a doll and a dummy on the back shelf and 2 dummies on the left shelf.
Okay, so I'm gonna shoot at the dummy on the back shelf.
Okay.
Is that just a D20 roll?
It sure is.
Ooh, that is an 18. Gimme.
Yep.
All right, and we decided the gun was a D8, right?
Yes, the gun is a D8.
And that is a 7.
That's perfect. So you line up to shoot this dummy. It has just finished pulling itself back up off out of the completely complicated position it found itself in. It yanked its leg back into place so it could
Stupid
try to move, but before it's able to even get fully up, you train your gun at it and shoot. It shoots right into the abdomen of the dummy, and the force sends it back to land against the back of the shelf, and you can see the light not even leave its eyes at first, but it burns so brightly before it extinguishes suddenly. And now, instead of anything pouring out of its eyes, everything starts to pour out of its stomach and drip off of the shelf. But it's dead.
Good.
So there you go.
So now we got my army people.
Yes, now you have your army people.
Since they have guns, can they also work as guns?
They can work as guns, but I will. Yeah, you know what? That's fine. I'll let them have a D8 of damage too.
Okay.
I was gonna say it's like a spirit bullet. It's not a real bullet, but you know what? It's
I feel
real
like a
enough.
spirit
in this
bullet
world.
would be a D10 personally because
I
it's a
personally
magic
think
bullet.
that's buffoonery. So no.
A magic bullet would do way more damage than a regular bullet.
Well, a magic bullet is also a blender. No.
Yeah, you try throwing a blender at somebody.
Henry.
That would have happened in the coffee shop fight.
Sorry, Henry is apparently playing with the cats.
That's okay.
Literally above me.
He's fine.
Okay, so Jesus. Okay, so. Okay. So
Last week, Henry interrupted Bella dying in a hallway.
he did.
This week, he's decided that it's the fight he's gonna take down.
It's only fucking this game. He leaves
Yeah.
Avernus
It's
alone.
only this game. Yeah, Thursdays are perfectly fine. It's just this game.
He doesn't like Mondays, apparently.
He does not at all.
Okay, so I have 3 of them, right? And there's 3 left, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, we'll do this one at a time. So the first one is going to shoot at one of the other 2 dummies because I'm going to murder them first.
Okay. That is totally fine. Go ahead and roll for me.
17?
Yep, that'll work.
Okay.
Do you have well, they're both on the left shelf. Do you care which one it is, or?
No.
Okay, that's perfectly fine. So your little spirit guy goes up to shoot. cocks his gun, and both dummies just sort of look at him and at the same time tilt their head. Just everything in unison, and then their jaws go slack, like they're just waiting. And he pops off. It hits the one on the left square in the chest. And that dummy alone, just that one, looks down at its own chest to see black just drip everywhere. And there's so much of it in this one that it pulls down beneath it and then just starts to drip onto the floor. Go ahead and roll damage.
I rolled a 5.
Okay. Well, 5 will not kill it, but it's very hurt.
Okay, so my second spirit is then going to shoot that dummy again.
Okay, cool. So the other dummy again has not moved its gaze from where it's staring at the spirit, but the second one is still staring at its chest. When a roll damage for me,
I rolled 5.
or did you?
Yeah.
Or sorry, roll attack for me for the second.
Oh, for the second one?
Yeah.
That is an 18.
Oh yeah, that'll do perfectly. So as it's looking down at its chest where everything is bleeding out and pooling around it, the bullet just goes through the top of its skull.
All right.
But again, neither bullet comes out of this doll. You can hear them rattling inside of it. As now the top of its head sort of begins to drip and bleed everywhere all over the doll and the floor in front of it. Go ahead and roll damage for that.
That one was a 6.
That'll do it. So with that second blow, as it starts to bleed, it just kind of falls forward off of the shelf and falls flat on its back on the floor, as you see everything continue to pool around it. Stuff still dripping from that top shelf where a lot of it had gathered, and it just goes limp.
Good. So my third spirit is going to shoot the other dummy.
Perfect. All right, so go ahead and roll attack for that one.
Come on. Okay, that was only a 6, so I'm going to use a spark. Because I have 2 of them. There we go. That's a nat 20, bitch.
There we go. Yeah, go ahead and roll damage for me, and you can roll
Double damage?
double, yeah. Because you crit.
That's a 6 and a 6, which is 12.
Fantastic. That'll totally do it. So for that dummy, like I said before, its eyes never left that first spirit as it killed its friend. And all of a sudden it just feels
friends? Oh no.
all of a sudden it just feels a crash as its head slams backwards, a bullet right between the eyes, and this one just falls backwards against the shelf, contorting its neck and upper body into a weird angle as it sort of settles before it stops trying to get up anymore.
I feel like I've done my job.
Well, there you go.
Done
So
my job here.
now it is you 4 in this room and 1 doll. But
It's
the good
Maya's
news
turn.
is it is Maya's turn, and on Maya's last turn I said that she hid behind the bookshelf. She happened to hide behind the bookshelf that this one doll now currently sits upon. Maya takes a moment to kind of think about her options, because if she does push this bookshelf, she's not super sure who it's going to hit because she's behind it. So she rethinks that plan very quickly. And instead of crashing the bookshelf down, she's going to try to come out from around the corner and sort of just swipe her blade across this top shelf where she's pretty sure it's sitting, to see if she can catch it in the blade. So we're gonna roll for that. That's beautiful. That's an 18. So yeah, Maya is able to do it. She swipes the blade across the top shelf and just sort of slams the blade up against the side of the shelf so it catches the doll's neck and
Good night.
decapitates it. Well, good night. And it decapitates this doll. Black pouring down and ruining this beautiful orange dress that it's wearing. But with that, the very last doll is dead.
For good measure, as I go to the door to try and open the door, I'm gonna smash one of their faces in.
Fantastic. I
with
will let you
my-
have that for free.
With the heel of my shoe.
I think that's beautiful. You walk past on your way to the door. There's like just a sea of bodies, especially near the door where Calvin was able to cast, and 7 of them had just slammed up into that door. So you just take the heel of your shoe and stomp on the face of the nearest one toward the latch, and more black ichor just falls out of its head and is now all over your shoe, but drips and curdles.
And then I'll just wipe the heel on the rest of the doll.
Fantastic. So you wipe your shoe off on this lifeless, super dead doll.
Good.
I love to see it.
Fuckers.
And you head over to the door, and the latch just comes undone and slides open.
Great. I'm going to walk out the door. Is it
Fantastic.
still a working toy store?
It is not. Now all of the walls are gray. The paint is peeling. The shelves look broken. Some of them aren't even fully standing anymore. And the dolls and teddy bears that once sat on the shelves and looked perfect to you all now look ripped apart and torn up, and like they've been gnawed on by bugs and maybe small animals. Everything looks like it hasn't been touched or cared for in years.
Okay. So I can tell you what my plan is.
Okay.
I don't know what everyone else's plan is. But my plan is to go room to room, searching for these words of truth. I'm not sure what form they're supposed to be in, but I'll look at like files, logs, look on the walls.
Okay.
I'll just basically investigate.
Okay,
rooms.
the basement doesn't give you much. There's just boxes. Now that Jeffrey's gone, and the whole basement again looks old. The wallpaper that was in here is just sort of peeling, and looks very faded in spots. The toys that sit on the shelf are new in their boxes, but you can tell the weather has kind of gotten to them, the wear and tear. It's very possible that this basement flooded at one point or another. But down here doesn't give you too much to work with. Neither does the side room that you just fought the dolls in. There's just a bunch of dead doll carcasses everywhere, cracks in their faces, some still smoking from bullets. But the main room is where you find a bit. Go ahead and give me observation.
Thank God I have
But
a +2 in observation.
everybody has a +2 in observation. That's how this works.
Okay, then it will be a 16 total.
That will work. You notice behind the counter, there are pictures on the wall, like an employee of the month sort of situation. They're all yellowed, the frames are cracked. You see one picture of Jeffrey Kahn, that's got like a little blurb, like, you know, this is Jeffrey, he owns the toy store, blah 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 blah. But then under the employee of the month, you see 4 different faces. You see Audrey James, Catherine Meyer, Lexi Posca, and Emily Neal. And they're each like a very smiling face. Catherine's got like brown hair that's pulled up into a bun. She's got like a little worker's apron on that says like Wonderland Toy Store and has their little logo on it. She's got big glasses, and like just like small little stud earrings, and she looks like very like sweet. Audrey has like two braids going down. The pictures are really faded and have lost a lot of their color, but you can see that Audrey has like some sort of colored streak in her hair. She's got big earrings in and like a septum piercing, and she's just kind of like she's got like some tattoos that you can see underneath her t-shirt, but she has the same matching apron on. Lexi just looks like the very classic girl next door, like hair up in a ponytail, like a super big bright smile, big blue eyes, and again she's got the same matching apron on. They've all got these little name tags that have their name in like a very pretty cursive font. And then Emily looks to be probably the youngest out of all of them, but she's just got like a little bob that's going on, and just she's you can tell that she has some sort of scar on her face, but you can't really tell. It's not super big, it just looks like it's on her cheek. But these 4 pictures hang up as employees of the month, and all of the dates are from like 15 years ago on the pictures.
I'm gonna take pictures of all of them,
Okay.
on my phone, and I'm going to I'll wait and I'll physically transfer them later.
Okay.
But yeah, so I have taken pictures of all of this.
Okay, you also notice with that, there is like a bookshelf sort of behind the counter, and it's got different books on it. They're all about toys. It's like the histories of different toy companies, different stuff like that. But you notice that one book doesn't have dust on it like the rest of them do. Like I said, this place looks like has not been touched in years, but one book visibly does not have dust on it.
What's the title of it?
On the history of toy making.
I'm going to attempt to grab the book.
Okay, you can absolutely grab it. There's not a problem with that at all. Once you grab it, you see that it's beautifully bound. It's like a blue, like a soft blue leather bound cover. The title on the subject of toy making is on, or the history of toy making is in gold, and it's just got a like silhouette of a teddy bear on it.
Okay, I'm gonna flip through it.
Okay. You see a lot flipping through it. On the very front cover, on the left, right when you open it, you see a note scrawled just in pretty average looking handwriting in purple ink, and it says, "To whoever may find this years down the line, this was the only place we could keep our secrets. Kay and I wrote back and forth in this book to try to keep things straight. It was so when we were wiped, we had a record of what happened, proof that we weren't imagining things. Once they knew we were working together, they separated us onto different shifts, so we would never be able to see each other face to face. Somehow they never found this book hidden in plain sight on the shelf behind the counter of Wonderland Toy Store. I hope you know what's happening is wrong. I hope you don't just destroy this book, and above all, I hope that you can leave with your memories intact and do what we could not. Signed, A."
I'm gonna take that with me.
Okay. Do you flip through the rest of the book, or do you just look at that front page?
Sure, I'll flip through it.
So if you look through it, you can see different pieces of handwriting in margins. One set of handwriting matches what was in the front of the book. The other looks vastly different. It's in a very pretty cursive, and you can see almost like these notes in the margins are back and forth to each other. You figure it must have lasted a while. Like some of them are just notes about how the day is going. Some of them are notes about little things that they found. But the very last set of notes in the back of the book The one that matches the handwriting in the front of the book says, I dropped the bag off under the sign. It says Pop 3308. Does that even seem right to you? I can't even remember the last time I saw that many. I guess it doesn't mean much. And then the next that's in the cursive handwriting says, I will grab it after work. Hopefully it has everything I need. I'll let you know what I get. All goes well, and I'll see you soon.
Okay.
You said the initials used were an A and a K.
Yes.
I'm assuming it's Audrey, and what were the names under the employees of the month?
Audrey James, Catherine Meyer,
And
Lexi
Catherine.
Posca, and Emily Neal.
I'm assuming it's Audrey and Catherine.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to stick that in my bag. To take with me.
Okay.
Actually, no, I'm not. I am going to take pictures of the pages
Okay.
of all of the text, and I'm going to put the book right back where it was.
Okay.
And because I'm paranoid, I am going to send them to my second email.
Okay.
That is my super encrypted
Yes.
email, and I'm gonna send all those pictures and then delete them off my phone.
Okay. Perfect. But with that, you all scan the rest of the room. There's nothing else really that you can see, except for one teddy bear that has seemed to survive all of this.
Is there a red ribbon?
There is a red ribbon around its neck. And there's also a small tag. And it's like, it's almost identical to when you saw the toys when everything looked perfect, except now, along with the manufacturing information and along with my first teddy, you see that there is an extra little piece to the tag that is essentially just for parents. And it explains how to load the arm of the bear with a needle. So
Jesus.
when the child hugged the bear, if they were scared of needles, that could be how they gave an injection to a child. And with that,
My God.
Quinn, can you give me a memory check, please?
Is that a D20?
It is a D20.
Okay, I rolled a 16, but I have a -1, so it's a 15.
Okay. You have just a deep, sickening feeling in your stomach. It is awful, and the just anxiety that just shot through your body is devastating. Like, you don't even want to look at this toy. You don't even want to see it anymore. It just makes you feel extremely uncomfortable all of a sudden.
I'm gonna take it. Is Tom holding it?
Mhm.
I'm gonna take it out of his hands and just throw it across the room.
So yeah, as you throw it across the room, it hits the wall and drops to the floor, and you just hear a small pop sound.
Does my memory modifier get affected?
It was successful, so yes, you get a
I'm at a zero?
+1. So yes, now you're at a 0.
I'm at a 0?
And you added your intuition to that, right?
Oh, no, I did not. So that would have been a 17.
That still would have gotten you the same thing.
Okay.
But good to know. So yes, now your memory modifier is at a 0. So now it is just whatever you roll plus your intuition.
Oh my gosh. So exciting.
Is there anything that you all would like to do before you leave here?
Tom lights up a fucking joint.
Fantastic. You do that. Obviously, this place is abandoned. Nobody's really here to complain. And you can smoke as much as you want before you leave, as far as I'm concerned. It
He
is
smokes it down in
getting-
one hit. He's a little after all of that.
Yeah, that's very fair of you. We are. You can see a clock on the wall that is somehow still working after all these years. And Calvin, you are getting very close to time that you need to be at the church.
Yeah, you need to hit this, buddy.
I don't know about all that. I've got somewhere to be. Maybe another time. I'm sure it's relaxing though.
Priest
after
hit a
all that.
joint.
Here, then save this one for afterwards, and I hand him an unlit joint.
Take it to the church meeting with you.
Wow, holy
Nice.
sacrament, right, buddy?
Before I say something, I'll just sigh and take it, pocket it.
I love it so much. Maya, in this meanwhile, has just sort of been looking around. She looks at the bear that you've slammed up against the wall, and she picks it up, and says, I don't think this is still supposed to be in here," and shows you all that the small popping noise was actually the release for the arm of the bear where you were supposed to load the needle in. And you see a small syringe that still has a needle in it, but there is no liquid in the vial. It looks like it's been used.
I want to do another memory check, but I don't want to risk my
If
zero.
you want to do it, do it.
I don't want to risk my zero though.
You at worst you'll get like a -2. At worst, you'll be back to where you were in the beginning.
I can a spark. I can re-roll anything, right?
A spark, you can re-roll anything, and you have not used your spark yet. So if you fail, you can always use your spark. Or if you're not happy with your score, maybe you succeed, but you're not happy with it.
Okay. Come on, you've been on my side all day. Let's work with me. Okay, that is a 16.
+2, or is that?
No, that's with the plus
Oh, that's with
2.
that. Okay.
Can I, if I re-roll it, do I take the better of the two?
Yeah, you can
rerolls?
keep the better of
Okay.
the two for sure. Yeah, you can keep the better one.
Ooh, that's a 20. Ooh, that's a 20 plus 2, which is a 22.
Yee.
Okay, well, first of all, go ahead and change your memory modifier because now it's a +1. Or maybe it's a +2. I'll check on that and get back to you with that.
Okay.
But with that, you have unlocked a full memory. So you stand here in the middle of this toy store, seeing a vial or a syringe that is empty, sitting in the arm of a teddy bear, light gray, very fuzzy, with a red ribbon wrapped around its neck, with the label of "My First Teddy." And something in your brain clicks, and all of a sudden you are 6 years old, standing in the middle of this toy store with your mom and your dad and your brother Riley, and you are looking at this same gray teddy bear with a red ribbon around its neck. Obviously, that young, you didn't know anything about a syringe. No parent would ever tell their child that. But you take that teddy bear home, and you sit in your bed, and you hug this teddy bear, and it feels like the safest place in the whole world. But that night after dinner, your parents sit down with you and with Riley, and they talk to you about something that you saw at school that day. You had seen a teacher who basically there was an accident on the roof, and the teacher was just trying to help this poor maintenance man trying to lift something heavy, and he tripped and he fell, and there was just no way to save him. And like as a 6-year-old, that's impossible to see, right? And your parents didn't want you to have to think about that. And obviously, with all the changes that were happening when you were that young, it was when Wi-Fi was getting super popular, and your parents talked to you about it and said, you know, Quinn, I know that this is so hard, and your mom just sort of hugs you. But your daddy and I bought you and Riley these bears, so that way, even when we're not around, you have somebody to hug, okay? And she hands you your teddy bear, which you hadn't noticed because you were 6, but it had disappeared for a little bit during dinner. And you give this bear a hug. And you just feel a small sting in the back of your neck. And all of a sudden, the world just feels like a little fuzzy and a little numb. And your eyes focus on one point on the wall that's a picture of you and Riley with your parents. And your vision starts to get a little blurry. And it just keeps going until it's almost like you're staring through foggy glass. And then it felt like you fell asleep. And that's all you remember. But from what you can gather now as an adult, that was your very first time ever being wiped. Was with a little gray teddy bear right next to your brother who had the same fate because you witnessed a teacher fall off of a roof.
Over to Maya, and I'm gonna take the bear, and I'm gonna look at it, and I'm gonna shove it in my bag.
Go ahead. You can absolutely do that. Is there anything else anybody would like to do before you all leave the toy shop?
I was gonna say, I'm just gonna start heading for the door.
That is more than fine. As you all head for the door, Maya trails behind you. She's sort of making sure everything is in her bag. The sword has already evaporated into thin air. And she goes, What about the book? I was reading over your shoulder. It's like kind of one of my things that I can like see stuff like that from like far away. And what do you think that means? Pop 3308.
I assumed it meant the population of the town.
Okay, so does that mean we need to like go find a place where the population's listed? They said they left a bag. Like, what if it's still there? If they didn't get out, what if nobody found it?
Then let's go make sure.
Okay. Yeah. Let's go. So what do you all want to do? At this point, it's probably getting close to 7 o'clock, which is when Calvin needed to be at the church. Now, obviously, you can make the choice to not go to the church if you don't want to go to the church. Or you can make the choice to go to the church and everyone else can go. Or you all can make another plan. Whatever you all would like to do is fine with me.
I said I'd be there, so I'm gonna go ahead and go there. I'll let the others know, though. I've got a meeting. If you want to show up, I don't see why not. If you want to do your own thing, of course, that's fine.
Is it like a meeting for the town at the church?
No, it is not a meeting for the town. It is just like a small gathering sort of thing. The beginning of the meeting is just Calvin and Paul and the couple other priests in training, just sort of having like a small meeting that they have like once a week, just to update each other on things that are happening, how their training's going, things like that. And then afterwards they have like a small like meet the preacher sort of situation where you can just sort of sit and talk. It's not even very like real, like it's not centered around the teachings of the church. It's more like a the community is very up on being comfortable with whoever is the priest at the moment. But it's not supposed to last very long. Normally, like I said, the meeting in the beginning is only about 15 minutes, and then they go out to sit with everyone else, and they sit out there for about 45 minutes. It's about an hour total. They try not to put too much time into it because they understand everybody in Grimsby is just so busy, but it is very important that there be community togetherness at all times.
I will go to keep up appearances.
I check my joint stash. I'm like, okay, yeah, I got enough for this. Let's go have let's go to the party, whatever.
Maya just sort of nods and like pulls her backpack onto her and kind of just like fixes her hair and her beanie. You can tell that like that this makes her feel like very socially awkward, but she's absolutely going to follow along anyway, mostly because what she just saw scared her to death. So she's like, yeah, I'll stay with people. That sounds much better than being alone. So you all head off in the direction of the church. The church is located down closer to the park where Teddy and Tom met up earlier. So it's not too far of a walk. It's probably like 10-15 minutes. And you all pass along different things on the way. As you're nearing the church, you hear a phone booth start to ring.
All right, have we learned our lesson yet?
Have we?
Is it my turn for the trauma?
If you wanna grab it, you can.
You
Otherwise,
are
I
the
will.
only one that has not had a phone booth call yet, but you do what you want, Tom.
All right, I guess if we're rotating this, I walk in the phone booth and pick.
I guess if we're rotating.
Okay, so you go into the phone booth. You pick up the phone as you shut the door behind you, and you hear, "This is the Reality Corporation. We have a message for you from Penelope. Would you like to hear it?"
Fucking sure.
You hear the ring again, like it's trying to patch you through to somebody else, but instead of a voice, you again hear the same message. "This is the Reality Corporation with a message from Penelope. After you hear this message, please hang up the phone and wait for further instructions from the Reality Corporation." And after the end of that is done, you hear a conversation. It's two distinct voices, both sound female. But one says, "You know, this is never going to work. We can try all we want, but this isn't the first, and it won't be the last. And there's only one way out, and we both know we can't get there." And the second voice replies and says, "We will never know until we try." And the first goes, "We have tried again and again and again, and we always end up right back at the spot, and we try again, and then it doesn't work again, and then we go back to the beginning." And the second goes, "Well, then what do we do differently this time? We can't, if we try the same thing every time and it never works, what is one thing that we can do differently this time to try to make it there?" And the other says, "I think we have to go through the Capitol." And then the line goes dead.
I put the phone back on the hook. I walk out of the booth, and I look at them and say, "I think I just heard ANK's voices." It was two people describing how to get out of town, and they said something about going through the Capitol.
Why would you have to go through the Capitol to get out of town?
I don't know. They said everything that they've tried failed, and they like got wiped and sent back, and like that was the one like solution, and then the line just went dead.
Have any of you ever tried to leave this city?
Have I?
Have you ever tried to leave the city? think you probably have. I think that there have been crimes that you've taken part in that have happened outside the city, or you've been told have happened outside the city, but your job has never been outside of this city.
I mean, I haven't. This is my home. This is where my family is. I haven't ever left.
Can't recall I have.
Can we not leave?
I've never thought about it. At least I don't think I have.
Suppose we could try it.
If we can't leave, then how do people go on holiday?
I think we know what the holiday is at this point.
That's what I thought.
So now you all need to make a decision. Do you want to keep going and go to the church? Or would you rather explore what you've just found?
Calvin, how pressing do you feel about this, what we just learned?
Here's where we're at.
I think in light of what we know, it's worth pursuing. I mean,
How urgent, though?
Here's the thing. Calvin, you're in line to possibly taking over. And you're aware of what's going on. I would rather have you at the head of this church than people who are just going to keep playing along.
that's fair.
So I think we need to go to the church meeting. I think we need to all play our part as good, dutiful citizens who don't know that any of this has happened. And then I think we can look into this.
So we're going to go to the
Makes sense,
population
yeah.
sign after the meeting?
Okay, so you all
Let's see if I can sell some burning bush.
You all keep headed towards the church, and it's really simple to get there. There's a light on in the activities building that would indicate sort of that's where everybody is supposed to go. You all walk in, and there's a whole.
I'm going to come in at a different time than the two of them, so it doesn't look like we're arriving together.
That is totally fine.
Yeah, same. Spacing that out.
Yeah, so Maya will walk in when Calvin does, and she'll just sort of go sit somewhere. Calvin, you head in there, and you would know from experience, this is obviously not your first time doing this, that there in the back of the activities building is a staircase that leads up just to like a private sort of meeting room situation. It's not very big at all, but it is big enough that it will seat you and Paul and the other two priests in training, if you will, that are doing this along with you, and you would know that their names are Samuel and Austin. So Samuel is already there, Austin is nowhere in sight, and Paul comes in just a few minutes after you do. Are you praying? I don't know.
I am.
Okay, lovely. So that's perfect.
No,
So
I was
Paul, okay, I was about to say Paul's gonna come in on you praying then. But
Cool.
Paul comes in and sits down next to you and says, "How are you, Calvin?"
It's been a strange day, I'll say that much.
Very fair.
Probably not my strangest, but among them.
Well, just remember, as long as you have your faith, you can get through anything. And he gets up and moves over to Samuel. and you can't hear the conversation very well. They were talking in whispers, but you can assume that it is probably something very similar to what he's just asked you. Time rolls by on the clock, and Austin never walks in. It is just you and Samuel and Paul, all sitting here together. After about 5-10 minutes, Paul just takes a seat, kind of opposite, but in between you, almost like you're sitting in a triangle. And Paul says, "It seems that we will not be joined by Austin tonight, but that is okay. Sometimes we are called to do other things. But for the two of you, day, I hope that gets better for you, and I will be praying for your peace. I assume that you have both been doing your reading." And you have been you've been catching up on all of the reading that Paul has assigned to you. Obviously these are a lot of religious texts, things of that nature, mostly, and nothing super special outside of that. He's also given you documentation on the church, on just like the layout of the church's traditions, the different things you would need to know, like passwords, for like the basic accounts, like the email and all that sort of jazz. He looks at you and says, "Calvin, I specifically gave you some documentation on the different teachings of the church and the new specific things that I've been called upon to write for this church. Do you have those? I'm not asking if you've read them yet. I know it's a lot. There was a lot that I felt I was called upon to write. But you have your copy, correct?"
Not on me, I can't say, but yeah, I have it.
No, it's fine. I don't expect you to have it with you tonight. Tonight is just a community gathering. It's not time for a sermon or a lesson of any kind. I just want to make sure that you have it so you can be studying it. Within in a few weeks' time, I would like for you to teach it in the church.
Sure, I'd be happy to.
Perfect. Next week at this meeting, we can discuss it further. But I feel a very strong calling to make sure this gets out to the people of our community, and I feel that there is no better person to do that than you.
I'll make sure to give it the seriousness it deserves.
Thank you so much. That means the world to me, and also to those that that call upon us to do the work that they cannot. They believe in you just as much as I do. And with that, Samuel's just sort of ignored the whole meeting. It doesn't seem like he's paid that much attention, but he seems very wrapped up in Paul's words, never breaking eye contact with Paul at any moment. But with that, the three of you sort of part ways and go down to where everybody else is in the main portion of the activity building. I'm assuming that you two have at some point within this 15 minutes or so spaced out enough to walk in. When you do, you see there's a long table that's just full of snacks and drinks. Just like very basic stuff, but it's all homemade. It's not anything that was bought at a store. Oh no, this is all things that are made by people of the church. They donate their time to make these snacks for these community gatherings. So the whole table is sort of full with like cookies and small sandwiches and things of that nature. And then obviously drinks. Like the drinks are just like pop and soda, things that people have again donated. And they have out round tables. Each table sits about 6 people. and they're decorated. They've got like a nice tablecloth on them and just like a small flower arrangement. It's nothing super fancy, but it's enough for the people of the church to just show that they care. And that they want to put together something nice for the community. Like I said, most of the time they do this every week, with the exception of holidays and things like that. But you all walk in and you can feel free to take a seat wherever Maya has elected to sit, kind of toward the back. She's taken out her sketchbook and is drawing, not really speaking to people, but she does seem to be quietly observing, and drawing if you walk past and look over her shoulder, she's drawing small scenes from around the activity building that she can see happening. So she's drawn like a few ladies sitting at a table together and eating. She's drawn somebody that has come out and brought more sandwiches from the back. And at one point, she even makes a small sketch of Paul as he comes out of the meeting chambers sort of doorway. But you all are free to do whatever you'd like.
If it is a community gathering, is Riley there?
Riley does come in at one point a few minutes later, with a couple of other officers. They aren't here to stay for long. You would know from your chats with Riley in the past that he just swings by normally with a couple of other officers to say hello to Paul, and to the people training, and just like make sure everybody's safe and okay. But there's never a super huge ruckus here.
I would just kind of flag him down.
Yeah, totally fine.
Yeah.
He sees you and comes over and gives you a hug. Hey, sis. You come every once in a while, but I didn't know you'd be here tonight.
I met Calvin around town, and he seems like a really good guy. So,
Yeah.
thought
Yeah,
I'd-
Calvin's really nice. I've seen him around a little bit. I've heard a lot about him from Paul. But yeah, Calvin seems really cool. It's cool that you made a new friend. You don't do that very often. I'm really proud of you.
Thank you for pointing out my lack of making friends. That really makes things
I'm-
great.
I'm not saying that you're bad at making friends.
Uh-huh.
I'm saying that you don't tolerate most people enough to do it.
I'm not saying I'm gonna spend every waking moment with a man of the faith. I'm just saying,
Yeah, there's also a criminal there.
Riley just sort of laughs and nods and goes, I know, sis. I'm just messing with you. I obviously know Calvin's not super your type or anything, but I'm just
Pretty sure you have to take a vow of celibacy to be a priest. So,
I mean, I wouldn't
Definitely
know
not my
anything
type.
about that. Your brother did not pick that occupation.
Thank goodness.
I don't know. Maybe ask Calvin about it. And he just kind of winks at you.
Oh my god, get the fuck out.
Love you too, sis. I've got to go though. After we wrap up here, I've got to go back to the station and just finish up paperwork. But it at least looks like it'll be a fairly early night for once in my life.
Well,
so
enjoy all of your paperwork. That sounds super exciting.
I will try my very best. Petty theft and missing dogs wait for no one apparently. But don't worry, we found the dog. It wasn't a big deal. He just went into the woods.
Well, people should keep a better eye on their pets.
I mean, that's fair. I don't know why people don't put their pets on a leash. Like
I don't.
people are people. Like things happen. Put your dog on a leash. But yeah, I gotta go. Like I said, paperwork. But if you need me, text me, and we're still on for dinner tomorrow.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. I will text you tomorrow. We will figure out where to go. It'll be great.
Sounds great.
And with that, he walks away. He kind of does a lap around the room. You can see him shake hands with some people, say hi to some people. your brother has always been a people person. He's just naturally charming. Everybody loves Riley, and it's like very clear in this room that everybody really likes Riley. But after a few minutes, you kind of see him just half wave at you as he heads out the door again.
All right, once the cops are finally out of here, I look around and try to spy what table has the most snacks accumulated on the table. And I go to sit down with them.
You see a group of ladies that are a little bit older. You can probably safely assume they're like the mom crowd, but they have sort of gathered just like a bunch of cookies and chips and things like that. Just sort of all around the table. And a couple of them have even pulled up chairs. Like this table is definitely overoccupied.
Are you about to try and sell weed to moms?
Fuck yeah. They need it.
But yeah, they're all just like sitting around and gossiping. You can hear one of them say something along the lines of, Timmy's just doing great. Timmy is the perfect angel child, and he scored 3 goals at a soccer game the other day. Can you believe it?
Oh
Now,
my
here's the thing.
god.
But then I also have Terrence, and Terrence is a problem. And she's just droning on about her 2 children. One that is amazing, and the other one that is a problem child apparently at school.
Good.
So I hear that, I sit down and it's like, you know what really helped my mom was this certain blend of tea that she had. And for my anxiety, I always made sure to keep some around. And I pull out this baggie.
Hold on, I'm gonna make her make a check because I don't.
In a fucking church.
I cannot, in good conscience, go just with your weed tea. But if she can't spot it, she can't spot it. I can't fault you there.
God, I hope she doesn't spot it. I want this more than anything.
I'm literally making up stats for this soccer mom as we speak.
Oregano.
She rolled a nat 1, so she knows nothing.
Yes.
Oh yeah, this soccer mom's buying a baggie of weed at church.
Yeah, so
she's gonna make so much tea and eat so many snacks.
She looks at you and goes, tea. Oh, honey, I love tea. I make tea for myself every night after I put the kids to bed. It's great.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, like, you know, putting them to bed is like, because Terrence, he just gets up out of bed all the time. Like, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, and the kid's like, I want a cookie. And I'm like, why do you want a cookie? It's 3 o'clock in the morning. Go to bed. But yeah, I love tea. I would love to make tea. And she goes, may I see? What kind of tea is it? Is like an herbal tea? Are we talking?
It's a homemade herbal blend, and it's decaf, so don't worry about like getting a little caffeinated or anything like that. This will really help you relax. You might even get a little extra sleep on it.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful. I love that. I would love to have that. Wouldn't you love to have that, ladies? That sounds wonderful. And all the other ladies just sort of nod in agreement. Obviously, they've not complained about their children yet, but you have a feeling that they were on the path there.
I'm 100% watching this from my
Yes, you
table.
are.
Just watching this happen.
But the first lady goes, where can I buy it? Like, do you buy it? Can I make it? What's the protocol here? Obviously I'm gonna have to try it first because I have a sensitive stomach. You never know what kind of issues.
Oh yeah, I totally understand that. It's a proprietary blend that I've kind of taken my mom's recipe and perfected. It's just one of those little hobbies I have.
Oh, well, that's lovely, darling. I love you, ladies. Don't you love to see new businesses in the neighborhood? We're just all trying to get along, make a nice community for each other. And one lady in particular nods and goes, "I have a bakery in town. I would love we could talk something out about tea."
Oh yeah, no, I love getting baked. I mean, I love baking. And I look around the room for a kettle. It's like, you gals want to put on a pot and try it out?
Give me an observation roll, please.
+2. That's an 8 + 2.
10 is totally fine. You can see there's like behind the banquet table that's full of snacks, there's like a small window that will let you see through to a kitchen. You can totally spot a kettle back there.
Yeah, it's like, hey, I hand her the bag. Like, yeah, you want to go ahead and put this on?
Well, honey, that sounds fantastic. Janet, and she starts yelling. And this woman pops her head out of the window to the kitchen and goes, Maeve, what do you want? And she like thrusts the baggie at Janet and goes, Janet, this lovely man just said that he makes a proprietary tea. And the ladies and I just have to try it. Make yourself a cup too. There should be plenty, right? I cannot believe I'm doing this, by the way.
Nat ones go a long way. Goddamn.
Oh, I love that they're all just like, yeah, okay.
We're in a church.
None of them were like, that's
church.
marijuana.
No, not at all. This nice man said it's tea. We're in a church. He obviously would not lie to me.
Shit.
This nice young man that looks like Jesus gave me this herb.
I am so torn between trying to stop this, like, because I should try and stop this, but at the same time, I probably hate Maeve. I just feel like I hate Maeve. She's just, and I just want to see her get high and not realize it. Yeah, no, I'm just gonna let it happen.
Okay. Well, Janet
I
goes
just look
back
over
and
at
makes
Quinn
this
fucking
tea.
Wink.
Janet goes to the back and makes this tea. Right. She brings it all out in lovely teacups. They're like white with powder blue ribbons wrapping around pink roses just on the side. And every lady has their tea. They just sort of slowly sip. They're not too like too in a hurry about anything. These are just your average church soccer moms. But Maeve specifically turns to you and goes, well, honey, this is lovely. You're doing a wonderful job here. This is great tea. Your mother would be so proud of you.
Thanks. I call it Purple Haze.
Purple Haze is a lovely name. I love that name. Ladies, don't you love that name, Purple Haze? Don't you think that's just a beautiful name for a tea? And they all very quickly nod in agreement. They think it's a beautiful name. Slowly, one by one, you can just sort of tell that they feel a little bit off. But like they're in a church. There's no way that they will be admitting to anything, especially those that at one point have tried this, maybe before they found the church. And so they just sort of do their thing. You can kind of see them all vibing together. Everything mellows out very quickly.
Do I recognize the look when those that realize what's happening happen?
Okay.
I walk over to them. I slide them business cards.
Fantastic. Maeve in particular, like you can see a couple ladies just like take it in their purse. A couple of them look very confused as to what you've just given them. But Maeve, she takes your business card and goes, honey, you're doing the Lord's work, and just tucks it in her bag.
Goddamn right. Cheers.
And they all just sort of disperse. None of them drive back. Thankfully, they're all within walking distance, as are most, if not all, in this town. But they all just sort of walk as a group down the street, and everything seems hunky dory. You can kind of see at the very, very end. It's fairly far away, but you can see somebody out, like disperse from the group and go into a house. And you know from around town that pretty much everybody lives right around there. So you're like, if one got home, they probably all got home. It's fine.
I'm gonna like slowly make my way toward Tom, just like I'm getting some air. And be like, all right, look, that was fucking hilarious. I hate all of them. But the next time I see you trying to give people drugs, I'm gonna have to stop it.
Hey, it's okay. I only give the harmless shit away for free.
Oh, okay. Well, don't tell me that. I'm gonna,
Don't worry, people ask for the bad shit. Don't worry.
don't. Oh God! Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. All right.
God, and they pay so much to have that bad shit.
Out on the street, Maya comes out to join you all, and she goes, "Did I just watch you do what I think you just did?"
Get Maeve and all her lackeys high as fuck from some marijuana water? Yes.
Yeah, they gotta calm down somehow.
Well, yeah, I drew a portrait of it because I was bored, and she turns her sketchbook around. It's like this 11 by 14 sketchbook, and she is like very loosely sketched out all of these women with teacups in their hands. She's watercolored the whole thing. She was like, I was really.
Is there a
bored.
green aura?
Yes, she's just painted like little green halos around everybody.
Can I buy that from you?
Yeah, you can absolutely buy this from me.
Okay.
For sure.
I'm gonna buy it.
Yeah, that's totally fine. You hand her just like a wad of cash. Like you come from
Yeah.
money. Like
Yeah, like,
you
fuck
have
it.
family money as a lesson, so you have plenty of money
Yeah.
on you. You just sort of hand Maya a wad of cash, and
Oh.
just go for it.
I'm gonna frame that and hang it up in my house.
But with that, the three of you are outside. Calvin, what are you doing in this church? This church function?
Wanted to kind of just shadow Paul during that time and like get a feel for how he's managing things. So I'm not sure I would have even noticed this going on closely enough to actually figure it out.
Oh, I'll be sure to inform you when we go on our adventure.
Just sees me sitting around the Golden Girls, just having a blast.
So you observe Paul,
The
and
church
everything
ladies.
is fine. He just goes around, speaks to people, says that he's I'm praying for your peace and your blessings. It'll be lovely to see you on Sunday, that sort of thing. But after a little bit, Paul just gives you a nod, which you have learned is your signal of like you are free to leave whenever you would like to do so. He doesn't speak a ton, just because he's a man of few words. But you take that as your sign of like you can duck when you would like to duck. Sam also gets this sign, and he literally picks up a tray of sandwiches and walks out the door.
Did you give him your joint?
Wait, what?
I was seeing if Calvin gave the other guy his joint, which is why he left with a tray of sandwiches.
Not that I'm aware of. I think Samuel just might be. He might have had one of his own, to be honest.
Wait, did he drink any tea while he was there?
Oh shit!
Did Samuel? No.
Did Samuel drink some tea?
No,
Oh,
Samuel's
shit.
got his own stuff. He
okay.
doesn't need anyone else.
All right, I'm glad.
Wait,
our
is
potential
Samuel a regular of
religious
mine?
Head is,
I would say that you know Samuel in circles. He may not be one of yours, but he's probably one of Teddy's.
He's in the chain. Got
Yeah, he's in the chain for sure.
Jesus. So we've either got Calvin, who's wise to how this shit is going down, and probably doesn't agree with it,
Eh.
or we've got fucking Samuel over here, who's a goddamn druggie, to fucking run the church. Oh man.
Things happen.
Yeah, I think we're
Um,
gonna keep talking up Calvin to everybody, just to help that out a bit.
But now you all are free to continue on if you would like to go kind of sort out what you heard on the phone earlier.
I grab the teapot and start walking down the street.
Yeah, that's been a
Fantastic.
bit of a burning question. We should probably handle that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you all head through. From your knowledge, Quinn, because you keep a map of the town in your secret base back at home, you would know.
Crazy room.
Yes, you're crazy. Right? You would know that the population sign is off to the western part of the city, right past Lake Everett.
Okay. I'm just gonna start heading that direction. I'm assuming everybody's gonna just kind of follow along. And while we're
Yeah.
going, I'm gonna talk to Calvin about Tom's miracle tea, because I'm sure he
That
knows
I'm
who-
actively pouring my own cup of.
I know. I'm
as I'm walking
sure
down the
he
street.
knows who Maeve and all of her lackeys are, because I feel like they're just like the church ladies. Like,
Oh, they are
yeah,
for
like
sure.
they're those
Yeah, they're
church
like
ladies.
absolutely those church ladies for
Um,
sure.
And I'm going to share with him that Maeve and all her lackeys got stupid high during the community meeting off of some tea. So there's that. You missed that one.
So, was there money changing hands?
No, just made a pot of tea and then passed out a few business cards.
They didn't know it was weed. They just drank weed water.
I think it's probably not cool to not tell them.
I told
I
him
mean,
it
I
would
can
relax
think of-
them.
I mean, look, it looked like Samuel.
You know what
was
you
on his
did.
own.
Exactly.
Samuel looked like he was on his own journey, making off with that tray of sandwiches. Don't act like you didn't see that. You've currently got a joint sitting in your pocket, so
I mean, I've heard of worse things happening at a church meeting, but I knew the joint was a joint. That's my deal. Just
look, Maeve needs to calm her ass down anyway. I think Tom did us a favor.
They seem to be having a great time.
As you
you're
all
having
are
a good time. That's all well and good. My concern is just, somebody might flip out a little bit. Just be careful.
If they can just turn on some cartoons, they'll be fine.
Yeah.
as you all are having this conversation, Maya just slowly pulls out her sketch and shows it to Calvin. She hasn't given it to you yet because you all aren't in
That's
like
fair.
a place
Yeah,
where it
yeah.
will get bent up. So she's kept it in her sketchbook for you, and she just shows it to Calvin and
Isn't
just
it
sort of
beautiful?
laughs.
I bought it for my wall.
And she continues on, like puts it back in her bag, and you all continue on, and very soon, because again this town is not big at all, you all reach a very broken, cracked, pothole filled road. It has been neglected for so long, it seems. And in the middle of this road, you see just a horizontal white line that just goes short ways across the road. Not the way you would expect a road to be divided to drive on, but just sort of stops. And right in front of that line, off in the grass, you see a large sign that says, "Welcome to Grimsby, population 3,308." It is overgrown with vines. And underneath it sits a very large pile of leaves.
You said that the line is behind the sign?
Yes.
So we can't get to the sign without crossing the line.
No. You can get to the sign. Like right before the line is where the sign.
Okay. I'm gonna kind of just hold my hand out, and just say, I don't know this for a fact, but how about no one crosses this line? Sound like a plan?
That seems wise.
That sounds pretty standard.
Okay. So I'm gonna make my way over. Fuck.
I guess I'll
I
kinda
don't
keep
have
watch.
any sparks left. God damn it.
You do not. The only person with a spark left tonight is Tom.
Can I?
Oh,
have
though.
one.
Also, Tom, please take a bonus spark because of the tea situation. You absolutely get a bonus spark for the tea
Um,
situation. So Tom has 2, Calvin has none, and Quinn has none.
Can I make an argument?
You can try.
Can the lockpicking kit have a flashlight in it?
Yeah, that seems fair
Okay, cool.
enough.
All right, so I'm gonna pop out a flashlight.
Also, your phone probably has a flashlight.
Yeah, but I'm just. I like the
Whatever makes your
tactical.
heart happy. Everybody, you got a flashlight.
Okay, so I'm gonna pop out the flashlight, and go and go and search around.
Go into where?
Like around the sign.
Oh yeah, for sure. You go in and search around the sign. There's nothing like immediate that stands out. But go ahead and give me observation. Anyone else can also feel free to give me observation if you'd like.
I'll jump in on that.
12.
That is 7 plus 2.
11.
Wonderful. So an 11 will definitely get you what you need. This pile of leaves. Obviously, there are trees around here. The leaves have fallen as seasons keep changing. We're getting into fall and like wintry time here, so leaves have started to leave trees. But you can see sort of that part of what the leaves are piling the leaf pile is covering is dirt that's been moved.
I'm.
Like loose dirt.
Anybody have a shovel?
That in your
Fuck it, I got
lockpicking
hands.
kit.
Not my lockpicking kit. It doesn't come with a shovel, unfortunately. Just a flashlight.
I just start pawing at the ground.
All right, go for
Yeah.
it, man.
That's fair. Tom, you go ahead and dig at the ground. I'm not gonna make you roll for that. You go ahead and start digging at the ground, and very soon you hit fabric.
I found something. I try to free it, pull it up.
Be careful.
Yeah, you can pull it up fairly easily. It is a duffel bag.
All right, I want to quickly check the contents.
Yeah, I'm gonna kneel down next to him, with my flashlight and my phone ready to kind of look at shit.
Yeah, you can totally do that. You unzip the bag, and inside of it you find fake IDs. You recognize the faces on the IDs as being Audrey and Catherine, or A and K, as you all have come to know them. So there are fake IDs for them. There's money. There's traveling clothes. There's also, let me see. There is also just like some different documents and stuff. Basically, things that you would think that you might need to start over, essentially, documentation-wise. And there's also a notebook.
I'm gonna grab the notebook.
Okay. In that notebook, you see notes that to anybody else probably wouldn't make sense, but to you, with the work that you've been doing, absolutely do. They have the names and dates and events listed of tragedies that have happened in this town.
Oh shit.
Do any of the dates coincide with what I'm missing in my paperwork? Or is this too old?
This is too old. The
Mhm.
latest entry is dated 10 years ago.
Gotcha.
The pages of the notebook are yellow, like you can tell the weather has definitely gotten to this. But the very last entry of anything is dated 10 years ago.
Do any of our names pop up?
You can give all of the stuff a scan and see if you can see it.
Yeah.
So the very first entry is dated September 1st, 1989. It says car crash that kills family of 3, Sophie, Baxter, and Dylan Locke. It was the first time they tried to cover it up. Apparently, Sophie was loved by almost everyone in town. People understood when she went on holiday. No one noticed she never came back. The next entry says gas leak led to 60 killed in an office building. They used it as a large-scale trial run for the first version of Wipe Bite. It only half worked. Families were wiped to be able to comfortably grieve. But really, half of the people that got dosed went numb. It was like they were just walking shells of humans. The other half forgot everything about themselves but still functioned. How either one of those seemed like a caring or logical explanation, I will never understand. The list goes on. There are different names of people and places. Some of them have like very short explanations that just say things like drowning. And then other ones have like big detailed descriptions of like as much information as Audrey or Catherine were able to get their hands on. The very last entry, while the entry itself is dated 10 years ago, it seems that the tragedy it's describing was farther back than that. Rebecca Baxter and Calvin Fox killed in a car crash on the way into town. And that's all it says.
That's your fucking name, dude.
Well, that's weird. I mean, I didn't die, right? Is there another Calvin in town? I don't.
Calvin, give me a memory check.
I'm kind of freaking out.
Are you a
I will
Calvin
have-
Jr.?
Again, I will have taken pictures of all of these pages because I'm assuming Tom is going to want to take the notebook with him.
Yes.
So I will take pictures of all the pages and send them to my email and then delete them. And the IDs and everything. Basically everything.
Hot damn. That is a natural 20.
Fuck.
2 full memories in one episode. Who would have ever known?
Yes.
All right.
I'm so fucking excited.
So, Calvin, you're standing here looking at your name written in this notebook. It's smudged a bit, but there is no mistaking it. That is your name. And as you stand here at the state or town line, rather, in front of the welcome sign, wind definitely causing a chill in the air for the beginning of winter, you flash back to a 4-year-old Calvin in the back of a just small standard car, one that like every family in suburbia has ever had. It's loaded in the trunk with boxes, and there's a moving van behind you. You kind of just bounce along. A girl sits in the seat next to you, someone you remember as being your sister, although now adult you is pretty sure you don't have siblings. But you and a small girl bounce together in the back of a car, a happy song playing on the radio, and you see your parents, Baxter, who is like in his 50s. He's got like really short, like buzz cut sort of hair. He's wearing like a blue button up. And your mom, who is just in like a very casual sundress, hair in a braid. And she looks back at you and smiles, the biggest smile, and says, you know, kids, I'm so happy to start our new lives together, and it's gonna be great, and you all are gonna love the new house. And then the world, it's like that ringing in your ears after a very loud crash. The whole world just sort of feels like it stops. You see your mom crash through the windshield. Your dad has hit a tree. He just got distracted and ran off the road. But his body lays lifeless against the steering wheel, and your mom is now laying on the hood of the car. You look over and you see that your sister is still breathing. Shallow breaths for sure, but they're there. You are stuck in your car seat, and you have no way of knowing how to get out. With that, you return back to an adult Calvin, but with that, you were number 3,308. You are the last person that allowed Grimsby to grow from the outside. And with that, that is where we end tonight.
Well, that's some heavy shit, homie.
Yeah, we put a warning on this when everybody signed up to do it. I was like, this is gonna be real heavy. I'm sorry about it.
Damn. All right.
Dropping
well,
the fucking bomb on me, God.
Jeez.
Look, I named this episode childhood trauma for a reason, and everybody thought it was because you want to fight toys, and I was like, no, it's not.
Jokes,
Double meaning. Get
jokes
wrecked.
on us, bitches. All right. Well, we will see you all next week. After we all go to therapy to deal with all of this trauma that has been heaped upon us.
Yeah, as we're leaving for the night, I just want to say thank you all so much. Thank you three for being willing participants at a brand new table with a brand new system. Thank you all for watching and putting up with my shenanigans. I love telling the story, and the fact that you both rolled for full memories tonight of all nights when I literally had those written out and I was like, there's no way anybody's gonna get them, but I'll figure out how to put them in later, and you both got yours was so good. Yeah, very, very, very excited about the whole thing.
Thank you for my new dice that roll like a dream.
You're very welcome. I'm glad you like them. And I'm glad they roll so well for you.
Yeah, I got fancy Reaper dice.
Yeah,
That are all-
fancy.
Purple and glowy and see-through, and they roll real well. All right.
Yeah, but with that, like we said, we will be back on Thursday with Descent into Avernus. You can always catch us next week for another Everyone's Forgotten. But yeah, like we're super thankful for you all. Thank you all for subscribing, for following, for all of the above. You're great and you're awesome, and we love telling this story to you. If you ever want to know more, please hit me up on Twitter with questions. We are actually planning on doing a talkback episode at the end of the campaign, to talk about the things that maybe they missed, the memories they never got back. And I'd love to answer questions from you all if you have any. But yeah, thank you all. Just I can't say thank you enough. This is the best. I love playing at this table every week, and the fact that I get to tell this story with people that I love so much is just the best.
Another thing that I totally forgot to mention earlier, we are currently working on a donation system.
Yeah.
We are working on low tiers of donations, but they will be interactive donations that we will be keeping track of during our play each week. And they will be able to affect the game. So things we were just spitballing is you could give so much, and you could give a character a reroll, or you could give them a spark, or you could, a higher tier could be you give them a memory, you unlock a memory for one of the players. So we're working on that. We're trying to figure out exactly how to go about that.
We're brand new. We're still figuring it out.
Yeah, hopefully maybe we can get that figured out by next week. Maybe. We'll see. But yeah, also if you would like some talkback episodes,
Let us know.
yeah, let
please.
us know. Even if it's just Mal and I talking about stuff, or some, because we all have different schedules. I have nothing to do except this, but we can get different groups of us together and kind of talk through things, because there's a lot going on in this one. So
yeah.
But yeah, thank you for tuning in again. We will be back on Thursday with Descent into Avernus, which is not as heavy and is
Not nearly as heavy.
full of ridiculous
Even though it takes place
shenanigans.
in hell.
Like you think the herbal tea tonight was something? Come see us on Thursdays.
Yeah,
See
if
what
you
we
have-
really get into.
if you
Because on
have not
Thursdays
joined
I get to
us-
be ridiculous with Drew as his like partner in crime. And none of us are serious.
And Ryan has
characters
to
on
deal with
Thursdays.
all of our fucking shenanigans.
It's great. We love
Alcoholic
Wonderful.
Dragonborn Wizard, sign me up.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that, we will play it out, but we will
Woo.
see you all on Thursday. Bye.
it. Bye.